This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Sharing the love, spreading the light in real time. Friday night love stream.
Very happy to have a guy we instantly resonated with. Unbiased and on the fence. I'm talking about Shane C. Robinson. And his purpose is to rise above the worldviews that are designed to separate us so we can unite as one.
Sometimes you have to sort of take a step back, and I think Unbiased and on the Fence is a really, really good title for your show, because you are in the central point when you're unbiased and on the fence. That's what it means. It doesn't mean you're indecisive. It means you are taking the central point and you're seeing the multiple perspectives.
Unbiased and on the Fence.
If you haven't checked Unbiased on the Fence, go and check his channel out. You might like it.
From Unbiased on the Fence, Shane.
If this much sincerity enters your life, come to this much. What I know, I know. What I do not know, I do not know. I don't believe anything, I don't disbelieve anything. I'm willing to look at everything. You will become a sensible human being.
Have you checked out our website?
Visit us on the web at uotf.net. You're listening to The Love Stream.
All around the world in real time.
I want to thank you for watching, listening, liking, subscribing, and for those who support this channel financially. Thank you. Lots of love and light to everyone out there.
Your calls, your stories, on air. You're listening to the Love Stream.
Sharing the love and spreading the light all around the world. This is Unbiased and on the Fence.
Unbiased and on the Fence.
It's the Friday Night Love Stream. What's up, everybody? Sorry I'm late. You know, I try to sandwich this in between picking my wife up and dinner and then her needing to go to bed because she works early on Saturdays. So, unfortunately, sometimes dinner runs over a little bit. And so, I don't know, maybe I need to just start it at 7:15 or 7:20 or something. But at any rate, I'm here. We're all here having a great time. Super chat is gone, Biker Babe. They demonetized me for suspicious reasons. I don't have any copyright strikes. I went and removed any video that they could give me any trouble on, and because they were like giving people problems for like videos that were like a year old, and I had some that they weren't bad, but you know, they were definitely something they could have used. So I just went ahead and took them down because, you know, I didn't want to. I've been trying to play by their rules. It is their platform. And, you know, everything's speculation anyway, usually, you know. So it's sort of in the realm of everything's allegedly. And so, yeah, anyway, I try to do it that way because, you know, I really don't know. And I don't really want to point the fingers. I mean, I look at things like the fires and they look suspicious, but really, do I know? I know it doesn't look normal. But I don't know what's causing it or what's going on. But, yeah, so I try to play it cool. But they came up with the excuse of my AdSense account wasn't being used, even though anytime they send me money for ad revenue, it comes through AdSense. So it's like, it was just a suspicious reason. They said it had been dormant for 18 months. And I'm like, what? So I guess they want you spending money for ads rather than just receiving money for ads. But at any rate, I don't care. I'm not doing it for the money anyway. So, you know, as far as them trying to pee on my parade, you know, nice try. So anyway, yeah, so it's the Friday Night Love Stream. We're taking your calls. I don't have any calls right now, but that's cool. Somebody will step up. I know. Oh, I wish I had your pictures, Ronnie, to show. I don't have them loaded into the computer, but you had some really cool photos. And we have other people that may call in. No pressure, but people that need love, and they've come to the right place, definitely. Oh, that's right. Last chance to, in the Friday Night Love stream, to wish us a happy Turkey Day. Yeah, next week. It's crazy, isn't it? Just absolutely crazy how time has flown in such a short amount of time. You know, here we are at Thanksgiving again. And, yeah, it's mind-blowing that we're almost to 2019. And it's really weird because some things have gone really slow while other things have gone really fast. You know, so I don't know. Time just seems to be really strange for me anyway right now. And oh, you don't have to have anything amazing this year, especially if you're first. I mean, you know, I know sometimes, you know, we had that one with Marsha, which was like this awesome call, and then everybody's like, I don't know, I can't really compete with that. You know, it's not a competition though, you know, just call in and share your thoughts or what's on your mind. One thing I did notice that I wanted to get out to you guys just because I love you and I want you to know, and I've noticed it, and I don't know if it's just me or if it's just things were strange and it's appeared this way, but in my time of driving for the last couple of weeks, I have noticed traffic. Okay, so you know how we see birds flying in flocks, right? And it seems like they're all together in one mind and one consciousness, and they're sharing some kind of, I don't know, something, because they're like flying around, and it's like, how do they fly in flocks? And fish do that, and the schools of fish, you know, swim around, and it's just amazing. But, you know, when you look at our highway systems, if you just really look at our traffic and how it moves in motion, we do this all the time too. But I've been noticing, and I think it's sort of like along the lines of this whole Mandela effect thing, because, you know, how it seems like sometimes people are tapped into one consciousness or another consciousness, or they're picking up on both consciousnesses. It seems like there's been more rear end accidents and like just people not paying attention and things happening on that level. So I'm just saying, pay more attention. It could just be people are on their smartphones more than ever. I don't really know. It just seems like people are not, it just seems like chaos on the highways more than usual, so to me. But that could just be my area. It could be, it's like almost every day I've gone to pick up my wife around rush hour traffic, there's like sometimes multiple rear end wrecks. I'm like, what the heck is going on, you know? And at first I thought it was the snow, but because, you know, it was snowy on Monday here. But, you know, even today it was nice, and here are these rear end wrecks, and they're bad. It's like they weren't paying attention at all and really slammed into people. I've been noticing people cutting me off and trying to stay back, and more people slipping into the space to, you know, try to keep a safe space. So I'm just saying, be careful out there. I don't know if there's something going on, but possibly something going on. Okay, we got a caller. We got a few callers. So without further ado, let me get to the phone lines. We have a 321. Gonna go to the 321. Who am I talking to? This is Shane. You're live on the air.
It's Ronnie in Florida. How are ya?
I should know by the 321, you know, but I'm never sure. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
could be somebody else in Brevard County. Yeah.
Totally.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree with the driving thing you were talking about. Holy moly. People are like, I drive around and it's like, is everybody high today? You know,
Yeah.
Is everybody on the road doing drugs? Because it's like nobody is present. Yeah, so totally, I agree.
Yeah, that's strange. So I'm just saying, pay attention, because I can typically, you know, check my just notifications on my phone at a glance and see if someone's calling me or if my wife called, or, you know, I don't like text or read text or anything like that, but I can glance at my phone. But lately it's been like everybody's so chaotic, and so I don't even risk it anymore. I just try to keep a nice safe distance, and we'll see what happens. It seems to be getting worse. That's why I brought it up, you know.
Yeah. I actually yelled at my husband the other day. I was going to the airport. I flew up to Virginia for a delivery. We were having to put up fence on the new house so we can take the dog up.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he sees a deer, he will disappear into the woods and we'll never see him again.
Right.
So he has to be fenced in. I can't trust him not to leave. And so we're getting fence put up, and we were getting the materials delivered. So I was getting concrete and fence from 2 different places, and all 3 deliveries were canceled.
Oh, really?
Like, okay, I just bought a ticket up here to just kind of walk around the house, but it was worth the trip. The leaves are all down, and I did not realize that you can sit in the house and see that waterfall. It was crazy. I was like, holy crap. Literally, my mouth fell open. I was like, oh. So it's amazing. I just, every time I'm there, I love it more. And
Is it
it's harder
because
to leave. And
is it because of the leaves falling, or you think you can normally see it even with the leaves?
The owner said that they used to be able to see it, and then too many trees have grown up. So if you want to be able to see it in the year-round, we'll have to take some branches down off of trees or take trees out, which they're young. They're all saplings, but they're starting to block the view, so probably I'll take them down. Yeah. That's something I can actually do myself, take a little tree. Very small tree I can cut down, but...
Or just prune it or something.
And it'll be firewood.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, there's no shortage of trees there, so
right.
I don't feel too bad about taking a couple of babies out.
Right. Yeah.
So that was exciting. It was a good trip.
What was the temperature like when you were there?
Oh, it was cold. It was very cold. My hands are chapped. My hands and my lips got chapped because it was just, I'm not used to cold weather. So I was wearing sweats and, thick, heavy sweats and 2 pairs of socks and a sweatshirt and a shirt and a coat that had a fuzzy stuff inside. So, people probably thought I was crazy. It was probably like 45 when I was and I'm bundled up. So,
45's like hoodie or jacket weather for us.
Yeah. But it did get down. It was, I don't think it hit freezing down where my son's house is, but up on the mountains they actually had ice. So they had closed the schools, or a couple of the schools got closed because they have kids that are up in the mountains and can't get down when there's ice on the road. So, but my place did not. I'm not high enough up on the hill to where it's an issue with the ice this early, at least.
Oh.
So that was a relief. But I don't know what I'm going to do when it does ice. I'm going to have to find a nice environmental way of de-icing my driveway. So if anybody has any hints, please put it in the chat. I don't know how to deal with cold and ice anymore.
You can
been
buy
a very long time. I lived up north.
You can buy these huge bags. They're like, looks like dog food bags of salt, and just sprinkle it down your driveway, and it will add some traction as well as melt the ice off of there for you.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we stopped at Lowe's and saw they had bags of de-icing stuff, and I was going to buy some. I was like, oh, well, what am I going to buy it for? If it's icy, I'm not going. Right. That's it. I can't handle it yet, so I know I have to get broken back in. I had a hard time. I had a worse time driving in snow than anything. It makes me, vertigo. When snow is blowing past the windshield, I can't tell what direction I'm going. I feel like I'm going to tip over. It's just crazy. Yeah.
Oh, Biker Babe's saying cat litter. Yeah, I can see how that works because they put sand on the street down here. They used to not put salt at all, but now they'll put a mixture of salt and sand because the grittiness helps, gain some traction.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes the ice like sandpaper, sort of, where it kind of sinks in a little bit and then gives you some traction. But the salt will actually melt it, so.
Yeah. I heard pickle juice.
Oh, really?
That would be cool, except for then your whole yard will smell like pickles.
And it would take a lot, too. Gosh, even one of those big jars of pickles don't have that much in there. I wonder if it's that's interesting. I wonder if it's like the vinegar, if you could get vinegar in one of those pump-up bug sprayers that and then just spray it on there or something, if it's really the vinegar that's doing it. That's weird, though.
And then it'll kill the weeds right along the edge of the driveway, too.
Yeah. But yeah, I think the
So
salt
it's-
probably is a better deal because it kind of stick around, you know what I mean? And you can like
Yeah.
see it there, and it's kind of, it provides texture of its own as well.
Yeah. I don't like that it builds up, but I know, animals need salt. I know when I was visiting my sister up in New York, they put down the salt, and then the deer would be like all along the side of the road, licking the road. I was like, what are they doing?
Ah.
That it's the salt. They're licking the salt. Because I know for horses and cows, you put out a salt lick or a mineral lick, and they come and, they will lick it gone, a huge block, because they need that salt.
Yeah, that's true. Somebody's making the comment that salt can eat away your car, and I have heard that it can cause cars to rust more. Like if in cities where they put salt down more, cars tend to rust
Yes.
more. So that's something
Yeah.
to consider. But I don't know. Do you want to slide off your driveway or not have your car rust? I don't know. Just I guess replace
Yeah,
your car a
you
little
should see
more
this
often.
driveway, too.
Yeah.
You wouldn't slide off the driveway. You would slide off the side of the mountain.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then I guess it wouldn't matter if there was some rust on it at the bottom of the hill, right?
That's right, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, but yeah, you just wash your car. But yeah, it does suck because as the streets get re-wet and like the snow melts and water runs back out into the street, it re-wets it, and the cars get this white haze all over them. If you have like a black car, it's almost white with, just all the sand that gets picked up. But you just have to wash it more often, and if you have a newer car and you're wanting to take care of it or whatever, and not let it rust away.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Amy B was talking about a shift today, and I didn't feel anything in particular, but I know when I flew up, everybody was so nice to me. And then today, it was like I was invisible. I would, like put my hand up for the stewardess, and she would turn her back, like I wasn't there.
Wow.
It was just the weirdest thing. So I felt like I was invisible today. It was so weird. And it
So
was
you actually got back today?
Yeah, I flew back home today. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
I flew up Wednesday for the delivery on Thursday. That 3 of them didn't happen, and I had to fly home today because my husband had to take off of work, and he couldn't keep taking days off. So, yeah. So that was a really fast trip, and I wish it had been longer. But it was interesting because to see the mountains with the, because it was so misty and the clouds were real low. So one day, it was like 2 different days. We got to go back out to the house for just a real short time today. And it was sunny and bright, and you could see the distant mountains. It was so beautiful. And then, but Wednesday, it was like everything was closed in and cloudy and low. But it was also beautiful in a different way. It was it's just amazing. I've got to get there. It's like, I can't get there fast enough. Everything's got to get done so I can move, and everything that's got to get done is me.
Right. It is such a
packing
wonderful
and
time, especially if you're moving to a different state, a different climate for you, and it's like a new chapter. And I don't know, I just get, like when I woke up Monday morning to snow on the ground, it was like, I don't know, like Christmas to me, because even though it kind of sucked that I had to get out in it and stuff, it was still just like, I don't know, I just hate the same old thing happening every day. And when you have like a break from the norm, even if it takes a little bit more work to get through it, it's just, I don't know, it's just worth it to me, just to break the monotony,
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, life does get monotonous when it's the same thing. That's back before I got laid off from my job. It was like every day you drive this way, and then you drive home, and then you drive that way, and then you drive home, and then you drive same circle. It was like I think like 12 years of my life. It was just a circle. Going the same. Now I'm on this side of the road, and now I'm on that side of the road, and now I'm on this side of the road, and that side of the road. So yeah, it got really tedious, and I would always try. There were a couple of different routes I could take, and I'd like, yeah, I'm gonna go this other way today. Just can't stand to drive that same road again.
Yeah.
But even that, still, it's like, okay, different circle, same place.
Yeah. Yeah, Bob, we had snow on Monday. we woke up to, I think, like 3 inches, but by, I want to say, Wednesday or Thursday, it pretty much melted all the way. It's all gone now because it got up in the 60s, I think, today. But it's supposed to get cold again, so. Yeah, and this was like a first because Monday just happened to be our anniversary, and my wife and I were talking 25 years, and we've never had snow on our anniversary.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's different, definitely different than what we're used to.
Wow, that's so cool, though. That
So-
makes it really special. It'll stand out.
Yeah.
So we're 57 degrees, which is,
Mm-hmm.
that's a little chilly for here.
Yeah.
Not as cold as we get, but yeah, Florida got a little cool, which is a gift. I love it.
Well, I lived in Georgia, and not just like the outskirts of Atlanta in one of the suburbs, and I loved it there. I continued open my painting business there, and I painting houses and things like that. And I could literally paint outside like the week before Christmas, and there was no problem because like it would get down to maybe 40s, like the coldest, but then be up in the 60s by the time the sun was up and stuff. So, and I think most paints, it has to be like 40 or 50 degrees. So it didn't ever really slow me down. I would be bundled up a little bit, but sometimes, but I could still paint, So that was pretty cool.
Oh, Terry Warden says he had a tough day. He, she, Terry?
Terry, yeah.
Could be either.
She. Yeah, it's
Tough
she.
day. Well, send some love. Love to you,
Yeah,
Terry.
sending you love, Terry,
Aw.
in California.
Well, I heard that you had other callers, and I know Biker Baby's been trying to call forever, so I am going to get off the phone. I just wanted to warm up the phone line again.
I appreciate that.
I'm the phone warmer.
Oh, I haven't even looked at my thing. What do I have here? Okay, forgot to put your name up there, but it was Ronnie in Florida, for those who might be just coming in late. And
Well, love, love, love to all of you. And I look so forward to these Friday nights, so thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah,
and
me
thank
too.
you, everybody who comes in and chats and makes it just such a warm, friendly place.
yeah,
Awesome.
definitely. Thank you so much.
All right, yeah.
Lots of love to you. Talk to you later.
later.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Your calls, your stories, on air. You're listening to the Love Stream.
Sharing love and spreading the light all around the world. This is Unbiased and on the Fence. Alrighty, headed back to the phone lines. Oh, everybody dipped out. It's like, wait, I don't want to go next. Okay, that's fine. 88 people watching, 8 messages a minute. I've got 888 across the bottom of my screen here. That's neat. Gotta love those 8s. Okay, let's see if anybody left in the room here wants to raise their hand. It's like, I think like 4 people joined at one time and people just trickled back out. Oh, I think Biker Babe was one of them, but she's having a blast. I'm just glad she's not having to work tonight and she's able to take a break. It's all good. You know what? I do watch Lisa Transcendence Brown. I thought it was Transcendental Brown, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I watch her from time to time, but I haven't seen anything. I don't think she puts out stuff a lot, but I get so many notifications. I miss so much because, like, if I come to my phone and it's like overloaded, I normally just clear it and then check it on my computer, but it only shows you so many, and then you'll usually click something and not get back to it, and so yeah, I do miss a lot. Let's see. Aw, Sherry, we love you too. I didn't see you hopped in here. This is a fun little group we have here, isn't it? All right, we got a raised hand, and I'm so excited. 225, bringing you on the air. This is Shane. Who am I talking to?
Yes, this is Jeanette from Louisiana.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, doing wonderful, wonderful.
I'm a bit nervous. I have to confess. My friend Sherry has been telling me about you guys for quite a moment now, and I never really listened to any of the videos. However, yesterday I listened to one that she sent me, and I was just overtaken by the love energy.
Oh yeah, this place is awesome, and it's just like a regular conversation, so feel right at home. Such a great crowd. Most of us feel like outcasts in our regular life, and so yeah. So
well,
you probably
I'm
fit
in
right
on
in.
that. Okay, I can relate. That's definitely, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, I want to tell everyone that keep on keeping on, because the love energy is so phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so many people need it, and so many people really, that's what the world needs. And the love message that you guys send is so overwhelming, and just it's so miraculous. It truly is.
Yeah, and it's really important in the time we're in right now, because I think if we can get enough people to just be loving and non-judgmental and just treat people like people, really. I mean, that's what we've really lost.
Right, exactly.
You know?
Exactly, because we are all one.
Yeah.
We're all the same. We're all one.
Yeah. And there shouldn't be people starving on the planet, and the abuse we see happening, and there's so many things that if we would just
there's
raise
so many
the
things that are
planet's
out of our control, that if we can control one little moment of
Yeah.
love and let it be love, then let's do it, right?
Exactly. Yep. Totally true. One person at a
Yes.
time, really, you
Yes.
know?
That's right.
why I always say,
and I say in bite-sized pieces.
yeah, because
But
one
just do
little
whatever
kind
you
act, one little kind act to someone can just, turn their day around for them. And, it could just be the teller at the store. I say this all the time. Just people that, the Quick Trip attendant or whoever, just one little kind act
That's
can
right.
just totally turn their day around.
And no selector of persons.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if it's the garbage man, I don't care.
Yeah,
Love him too.
exactly.
Yes.
And we
Yes.
would change the
Look,
world.
if Helen Keller can say, I can't do everything, but I can do something, and I will not refuse to do that one thing that I can do.
Oh,
If
yeah.
Helen Keller can be that passionate about love, then I think everybody can.
I completely agree with you. Yeah, that's a great point.
And I can tell you that I listened to the entire little video. I'm not savvy, I guess. All of the little jargon for the internet jargon and all of that stuff. I'm not real savvy on all that. So excuse me, because I probably won't say it correctly.
Oh, it's okay.
But after I listened to the little video,
Mm-hmm.
I listened to the whole thing, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, yes, this is what I need. This is what I've been, like, this is truly like some love work. It's light work. It is so true. And I wanted to introduce myself, and hopefully one day, like, be in this family that is just so loving and so accepting and so okay with everything. Like, I really appreciate the love that you guys give.
Oh, you know what's so cool
is phenomenal.
That it doesn't take anything. You're in, you know what I mean? And it's like, that's why I have people like saying,
like
hey,
I want to be in. I want to be in. Right?
You're in. That's what's so cool about it. You don't need anything except to
like,
want
you don't have
to
to
be
do
in.
anything. It's no initiation. And I tell that to a friend of mine.
You don't have to
like,
drink
there's
any
no
Kool-Aid.
initiation. You can, whether you want to be or not. Like, sorry for your love.
Right. Yeah, I was talking to somebody. They were like, they think we're in a Jim Jones cult, and I'm like, I even feel that way. Sometimes people would be like, I like your little group. I'm like, hey, it's not my group. We're like,
you're
even.
in it, whether you want to be or not.
Right, we're in it, but it's not my group. I might be like the person on the air or whatever, but no, totally.
Right.
Because I always feel like that. I'm like, no, I don't want people to think I'm trying to start a cult, because it's just a group, and we're all even and equal here, loving each other, So. Yeah. So.
Yes,
so you're in.
Yeah. And one of the I can't remember her name. I'm so sorry.
Are you talking about the callers from last week?
Yes, I think it was last week, the one that I listened to. But she was speaking of how she lost her father and her sister, and
Yeah.
than her mother, and just, the grief and just, such a struggle of navigating that new normal.
Yeah.
And it is a struggle. It is terribly difficult. I'm sorry. I didn't want to choke up like this.
Oh no, you're in the right crowd to. I mean, we understand what it's like losing people, and it's tough. And sometimes you just need some love, especially if you lost
And
somebody
you
that
do,
you were
and
getting
you
it
do.
from. So.
And you do, but I think that and I'm not sure how y'all call it in my little world. I say love or God or
Mm-hmm.
He always sends us signs of saying, "Don't worry about it. I got your back. Like I'm here with you."
Yeah.
Um,
That can mean so much.
and it does, and especially when you're hurting so much and you're wanting to reach out and you just don't know where to go. You don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
God is always there. Love is always there. And he puts you in line with the right people at the right time for the right moment.
All right. And we're lucky enough
It's
to be those
always.
people for you right now. So that's
Yes,
awesome.
yes.
So do you want to talk about some of the signs you got? Because this is the perfect crowd to talk about that if you're willing to. Some of the things that help you through, the little signs to let you know that, because I love the fact that people can come on here, they can hear this, they can feel like, you know what, I want to share my story, encourage other people too. So really that's
Right,
what we're here
right.
for. And so, yeah, anything you want to share, but don't feel pressured,
No, not at all. I'm a very private person, but I feel very comfortable with the energy and the love and just the safeness, I guess, if I could put it in just plain terms.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the signs that I have been given is in I really don't know how to say it other than to just say it.
Mm-hmm.
That I bring things back in my dreams.
Right.
Little tokens of okayness, and I'm here with you. Like, I lost my parents, both of my parents, in September of 2016, and since then I have brought several items back from my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I dreamt that I was helping my dad rebuild a fence, and actually it was my grandfather, but my dad was there. And so I brought back like the little fence nails, the little U-shaped fence nails from the old barbed fence,
Right.
type style fences. I have brought back a corkscrew. I've brought back several different little tools. I guess it was kind of an old compass. I don't really remember all of the dreams associated with each item that I brought back. My dad was retired from the railroad, and one of the things that I brought back was three miniature type railroad spikes, and I have long hair, and I had it in a bun, and the railroad spikes were like keeping my bun together.
That's sweet. Yeah. Now I've heard of this before, like stuff sitting on a nightstand or just things that were placed or even just moved around a little bit just to let them know that, hey, you're not alone, I'm still around, and things like that. So this is actually really
Right.
fascinating. Yeah, and it does happen.
Right.
But wow, that's supernatural. You know what I mean? That's
And I can tell you that I never knew of anybody to do that. And so, of course, what do we do when we don't know anything? We Google it, right?
yeah,
Google. Ask Google. Google knows. Ask Google.
right.
And so I did. I Googled it, and of course it was like, oh no, you can't do that. It defies physics, and blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I did it. Which really I didn't, and I found that out today in my little meditation within myself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do it. they brought it to me.
Yeah, so it's like, and you don't even really always remember the dreams, but that's
No,
cool
and
that
I don't
you do.
remember the dreams associated with every single item that I brought back.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually, my mom and dad were murdered. So, like, we didn't have, they took a lot of the things that were near and dear to us.
Yeah.
We didn't have, like, the most important thing.
Yeah.
And I actually brought back my mom's engagement ring.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
Well, she gave me her engagement ring. And so I guess it's like dreams with the angels, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still a little hesitant to talk about it. I feel comfortable talking about it with you guys.
Yeah. Well, I know for a lot of
But
us,
if you
we've
look
seen
at
the
it
impossible.
anywhere else, like, it just doesn't really, there's not a whole lot of positivity there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another reason why I wanted you to bring this stuff up, because a lot of people have things like that happen, but, a lot of people don't want to share it because most people just act like you're crazy or tell you, like, what you were reading, like that's impossible. But when you've seen the impossible happen, which most of us in this chat room have seen things that are quote-unquote impossible happening, it's not a stretch at all for us to believe. You know what I mean? Because we've seen it, yeah.
Right, because the first thing is that, okay, you were sleepwalking. And I can tell you, even as a child, I believe now that I brought things back from my dreams as a child, but it was, quote, sleepwalking.
Right.
And I would kind of get in trouble for it sometimes.
Yeah.
And then, so I can remember my mom bringing me to the doctor, and he said that I had night terrors, whatever that means.
That's just probably one of those titles they give when they don't know what's going on.
Right, that they just really don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that I have been doing that for a long time. I didn't really understand it.
Yeah.
Still don't understand the totality of it, but it sits more comfortable to me now, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as a child, I did the same thing.
Yeah.
It was just labeled as sleepwalking or night terrors.
That's really amazing, because it's like it's a gift you have, and now it's manifesting in this new way that is turning around and comforting you in a time of grief and stuff like that.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, most definitely, because it's kind of like my mom saying, please, we love you. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Everything's okay. Everything's going to be okay. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it is very comforting, and even my great-grandfather is very close to him. I'm very fortunate to have known him for the number of years that I did. So yeah, but it's not something that most of the people are accepting of. They really don't understand it, and they want to label it as other things.
Yeah.
That,
get that.
like, I know it's not that. I know it's not that. I don't know what it is, but I know it's not that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of religious people that are sort of living under the religious fear and things, because a lot of it's based around fear, just automatically jump to, well, that's demonic or something like that. And it's like, dude, don't you? It's like at the same time they say they believe in a sovereign, all-powerful God, but then they'll turn around and act fearful towards. It's like, dude, if you really believe in an all-powerful God, don't you believe he'll protect you too?
That is so ironic that you even mentioned that. Okay, so my mom was very devout Catholic. We were born and raised devout Catholics.
Mm-hmm.
And, so they teach you that God is an all-loving God, and that he loves unconditionally, and that whatever. And as a child, I can remember even getting in trouble because I was going to ask. I want to know why, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't tell me that this is what it is,
right?
Unless you can tell me why. And I'm like, well, why would if God loves us that unconditionally, then why would anybody ever go to hell?
Right.
like, or if we can really pray for all these souls, why is nobody praying for Satan?
Right. Yeah, all makes sense, and you're like bringing up the same things that I'm like, wait, this just doesn't make sense, you guys. I mean, if you think
Like,
about
when's
it,
the last time somebody prayed for Satan?
right? Exactly.
And I didn't say it exactly like that as a child, but that's what I meant.
Right.
You know, I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Hold on. And I questioned it as a child.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that there's a greater purpose. I know that this is not it. I know that there's so much more to be done, which is why I think that the majority of the things that I've brought back in my dreams were tools.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so much more work to do.
Absolutely.
And keep on keeping on. You're on the right track. You're going the right way, and keep on keeping on.
And that's really the main thing, is having that perspective of realizing that it seems like everything you see is all there is. But, I mean, you know this, and most of us know this in this group here. And by the way, the chat is, you guys are just so sweet. Thanks. They're sending you group hugs and loves and
look, I'm not
hearts.
technologically savvy, okay? I can't, like, talk on the phone. And first off, I'm Cajun, okay? So I talk with my hands.
Right.
So I have you on speakerphone because I have to talk with my hands.
Right.
So I can't talk on the phone, and I'm not technologically savvy, so I can't see what everybody's saying.
That's why I'm letting you know that they're just
and I don't know how to do that.
There's an
yet.
outpouring of love for you right now, and everybody's giving you group hugs and sending you hearts, and just they're really feeling your pain. And I just wanted you to know that. And then Sherry's here too. She says she's here and she loves you, and so yeah, you're in the right place. So I really appreciate you sharing these things, because I know it's going to encourage others, and hopefully they'll call in and share their stories and know that they can share it in a safe place of people that love to hear about this stuff. You know, I mean,
right.
To hear about the bigger picture that's going on, rather than just what we see day to day.
Because there's so much more to it.
Oh,
there's so much more to it.
Yeah.
There's so much more to it. And I so appreciate the love. I will go back. When I hang up, can I go back and see what people wrote? Or because I want to see that love.
Oh, yeah, definitely. As a matter of fact, you could scroll up and you can see all of that. And then even after the video's over, it usually takes a few hours for it to process everything. But like, say, tomorrow morning or something, you can watch through the whole thing and watch the chat while you were on here talking. So yeah, and then whenever you feel you feel down or you feel alone, you can come back, you can save this video in your watch later list on YouTube, and then just come back and read it and know that you're not alone, because we're all in this together.
My God.
You know, this can be a tool for you that you can bring back into your regular life, like you've been doing from your sleep.
It is so healing.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It
yes,
is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am so blessed to be a part of this.
I will learn how to do all of it. I promise.
Sherry
I
can
won't
show
stay
you.
green forever. I'll know how to do it all, and eventually I'll be sending everybody hugs as they're talking.
Yeah,
I just don't know how to do it yet, but I will do it. I promise.
Well, Sherry's good. She's a good teacher. She'll be able to.
Oh, shit! I love my Sherry. Yeah.
Yeah. She's a huge part of
it. Sherry is so. She is the greatest friend in the world.
Wonderful soul. I got to meet her Sunday, and it was so cool, because, you know, I've had her on before with her Michael Jackson stuff, which is so awesome. And Sherry, you should post that link if you can for your Michael Jackson video, because to me that was amazing. And that was another one of those stories you just can't go tell anody, because people will be like, what are you talking about? But it's like, how many things have to line up?
She sent me that link. I've watched that one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, her and Darby on, that was wonderful.
Yes.
And it's like, so many things happen. It's like, you have to be crazy to say it's not happening. You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
You know?
To deny it is crazy.
Totally, yeah. So that's wonderful. So it's been a while. She mentioned it a while back, and we all kept you in our hearts and prayers when you were going through that.
Yes, and thank you guys so much for that. I know that y'all didn't know me, and hopefully y'all will know me a lot better. And I appreciate all of the love energy, because I can tell you that I received it. I welcomed it, and I am so forever grateful. I am so blessed.
No problem. Yeah, life can be a roller coaster, and it's nice to have people there when you're on that downswing, you know. So definitely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I won't keep too much more of your time. I'm sure you have other callers that are wanting to get through.
Yeah, well, don't be a stranger.
I just wanted to introduce myself, and I will be back.
I appreciate it so much,
I will
Jeanette.
definitely be listening in.
Lots of love to you.
Same here. Take care. Love you guys.
Love you too. Bye-bye. Let's see which one. Let's do this one.
Let's go.
You're listening to the Love Stream.
Unbiased and unbiased.
All right, going back to the phone lines. 303. Who am I talking to? You're live.
Hello, Shane. This is Daryl.
Daryl.
Pam is right.
Daryl and Pam. So nice to have you guys with us. Daryl and Pam are over-the-road truck drivers. They send me wonderful messages about how they love listening while they're on the highway, and I think it's just so cool just to imagine them out there over the road, and it's wonderful to actually get you guys on here because, like I was saying in the email, not many people they're not like awake couple that see things happening and are experiencing this whole thing, and it just warms my heart to know that you guys have each other through this whole thing, you know?
Yep, it is great. We're just heading east out of El Paso, traveling down the road of the Love Stream.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you're just a state away.
Yeah, not too far. Can you hear us okay?
It's a little distant. I turned you up a little bit as far as I could, but yeah, I think I'll let everybody know, or you guys can let me know if you're having problems here. It's a little distant, but I can make out what you're saying. Maybe I should turn myself down a hair, and then people can.
I just want to.
There we go.
Because I know sometimes it's a little bit hard to hear, but
Yeah.
just want to make sure you can hear us okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys, I got to hear your Mandela effect story. Do you have one?
And well, I'll tell you, yeah. I guess I'm kind of one of those where we both are, where we notice things, but we just think manufacturers are changing them.
Oh, right.
And the first time I noticed it, I didn't even know it was Mandela effect. And it was Jif peanut butter. We were in the grocery store, and I told Pam, I said, I wonder why they changed the name to Jif. I like when they called it Jifty.
Right.
And I just thought it was manufactured doing that. And the other thing was Nestle, because I remember when I was really young, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, and the Nestle commercial came on. It was always Nestles. Nestle's makes the very best chocolate.
Yeah.
And it was a dog singing it, you know, and I thought, I don't know why these manufacturers don't leave it alone.
Yeah.
And then happened to hear you and Nathan talking about the Mandela effect and all these different things. You mentioned Jif peanut butter, Jiffy, and I thought Mandela. So I never heard of the Mandela effect, so we had to look it up and see what it was.
Yeah.
And after that, and then I remember before that we watched Invictus or something like that with Matt Damon, and it was about Mandela, and I was thinking, geez, I thought Mandela died in prison.
Yeah.
And there they had that movie about him out of prison, and I thought, wow. So this is the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
So those are things, and I know some of the car emblems, you know, like Ford, I noticed that changed. I think Chevy did too.
Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, those are our Mandela effects that we noticed. And I, you know, you talked about the one in the Bible, and here I was raised Catholic. I went to grade school, high school, and back then we never spent a whole lot of time into the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Our big thing was the catechism.
Right.
So that was pretty interesting when you said about the change, where the lion had changed to the wolf.
Yeah. And you
That's
probably
pretty amazing.
you probably noticed the one. What was it? The one, the Lord's Prayer, because don't they actually recite that out loud in the Catholic Church?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and that's amazing.
Yeah. Now, was you a Catholic?
No, I was raised Protestant, one of the Holy Roller, Pentecostal churches where we would jump and shout and speak in tongues, and so. But just on my own, I would just read the Bible because I was told it was the manual for life. So, yeah, I read through it dozens of times, and I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about it tons of times. But I did want to go back to the Nestle's thing because you can actually look up those commercials you're talking about now. And it's weird because apparently the name has never been Nestle's with an S on the end, but these commercials are still around. So, I mean, how do you really explain that? As late as the 80s, they had commercials. They had the rock group called Fear No More, or gosh, what's the name of that? I can't think of the band name, but they sang in the 80s. They sang the same song. It was sort of like a love song, and it had the woman with her dress blowing in the wind, eating Nestle's or Nestle now, and so yeah, it's strange, and they spell it out in the song in the video, and they show the candy bar going by the screen as he's spelling it out, and there's no S on the end, and I remember it having an S when I was a kid watching it, so it's like the rapper changed in the commercial, but the song didn't. Faith No More is the name of that band. Yeah, Faith No More.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, I should have known. Let's see. It's Sherry. She knew the song right away. I knew you would. She likes the 80s rock. So. But yeah, it's a nice little group we got here. And so, you said Pam's driving?
Yeah, I'm driving. Mine was Oscar Mayer because I remember the commercial. My baloney has a first name, it's O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name, it's M-E-Y-E-R. Oh, I love to eat it every day. And if you ask me why, I'll say, because Oscar Mayer has a way with B-O-L-O-G.
Yeah, totally.
That remembers that commercial. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking, wow, was I in a timeline all by myself?
Right. No, I remember that during Saturday morning cartoons.
Do ya? Yep. I always sang along to that cartoon, that commercial, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the rodent stinker, when I heard you talk about the rodent stinker statue, we knew that one for sure, too. Same as you, we were sure on that.
Yeah. Now, what about
Yeah,
JFK?
you introduced-
The JFK assassination, is that one that affects you guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's probably the freakiest one because of the fact that I remember showing my wife, and that was the big one for her. Even though, she sort of kind of backtracked from it because it was just so shocking to her brain, I could tell. But her eyes got so big when she saw how many people were in the car. Because we watched these documentaries together, probably several of them over the years about, conspiracies of what really happened. And then I showed her, and it's just a trip to see it in color and to see 6 people in the car. And man, it's mind blowing. That's really, literally mind blowing. It blows your mind.
Yeah, the car doesn't even look right. That way it's got that extra layer in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it is trippy. So,
Yeah, I know it.
I was going to ask you, did you hear the beginning when I was talking about traffic seems to be a little more chaotic? You guys are truck drivers, so what's been in your experience? Does it seem like people are a little more disconnected on the road these days?
Oh, yeah, as a matter of fact, we mentioned a few times this week there seems to be more traffic out on the road, be more wrecks. And it just, yeah, it's just strange.
We missed the beginnings. We were putting in fuel, but yeah, people do definitely seem a little more distracted.
Yeah. And it has been getting worse, but, you know, because of cell phones, people not paying attention. But, I mean, it seems to be like every day there's been a wreck on the road, is what I was mentioning at the beginning, to go get my wife. And it's like, wow, it's Monday. I thought it was the snow, but then since then it's like, and it's actually, I'd say the last couple of weeks, it seems like people are just not flying like a flock of birds like usual. It's like people are just sort of all over the place, and it seems really chaotic.
Well, it is out here. Yeah. You know, it's like we listen to, you know, or read, you know, books and everything, and how to start being more lovable and this type of thing, and not be judgmental.
Yeah.
And so it's just like traffic, you know, the cars, they'll pull over right in front of us.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh my God. And in the beginning, when we started driving a truck about 7 or 8 years ago, we weren't into a whole lot of this, because it seemed like we were just so busy with our lives and everything, and we started listening to these things and started becoming more aware of trying to be less judgmental.
Yeah.
You know, and I can remember, you know, when cars would pull over in front of me, you know, and I'm in here, and, you know, and I call it ass, you know what.
Right.
You know, so after I became more aware and supposed to send everybody love, well, then when the cars started pulling over in front of me or something like that, I would start calling them lovable ass. You know.
Baby steps.
So, yeah. So, you know, inch by inch, it's a cinch.
Right.
You know, and, you know, same way, you know, with the, you know, flipping them off one finger, and then I found out later that I was misspelling the peace sign, spelled with two fingers.
Right.
So anyway, that's because you were sleeping.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Well, I got to tell you, that's probably the time I'm triggered the most is driving, you know, because it'd be like the traffic, it's, you know, and it's a struggle. I can't imagine being a truck driver and not getting triggered at least some of the time, because you've got all that weight. You've got, you know, people that just don't realize how hard it is to stop a truck that will, you know, pull over in front of you and then hit the brakes and just try to squeeze in while you're trying to keep a safe distance. And they really probably shouldn't be on the road. You know what I mean? And it's like, it could, oh gosh, I can't imagine what it's like in a truck, because I get triggered a lot of times, and even my wife would keep me in line. She goes, "Where's the love and light, honey?" You know. So.
Yeah. Well, you know, a truck, when you're driving around 65, you have to slam on your brakes. It takes almost the length of a football field to stop a truck that's, you know, fully loaded. You know, that's like 80,000-pound missile coming at you.
Yeah.
And that's what frustrates me. I think these people don't realize that if they pull over in front of you and stop, they're done. I mean, might as well stick a fork with them. They're done.
Right. That's what I always think too. I think if they really knew how hard it was and how much weight, and how dangerous it is, they wouldn't do that, because they're just throwing their life away, basically. You know, if you can't stop and they get crushed.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's amazing.
So do you guys ever make it through Tulsa ever?
You know, we were through Tulsa, the last time was maybe about 2 years ago. Yeah. We run most of the time from Phoenix to Atlanta on Highway 10 and 20.
Oh, okay.
And we actually have some very good friends I went to school with that live in Tulsa.
Oh, cool.
They moved down there, I guess, about a year ago, somewhere in there.
So
I
what?
originally grew up in Kansas,
Uh-huh.
western Kansas, on a farm.
Oh, nice.
And Pam grew up in Michigan.
On the lake.
On the lake.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Biker Babe's actually in Michigan.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's from Dallas.
Yeah, I'm from East Tawas.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of up north.
Yeah.
And
Well,
we met in Colorado.
oh, nice.
That's Colorado, and
A lot of synchronicities took place for us to meet
yeah.
and become truck drivers.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. One thing out here on the truck, you have a lot of windshield driving.
Yeah.
And the synchronicities fascinate me. And when I look back over my life, I think about all the different things I did or whatever, and the synchronicities that created it.
Mm-hmm.
And I always felt, when I look back and look at everything, think, well, synchronicity, and it's just amazing. Just like us becoming truck drivers.
Mm-hmm.
We've only been driving the truck for 8 years, and we were both opticians in Colorado.
Oh.
We did that for about 20, 25 years. And then all of a sudden, we just got tired, wanted to change. And the idea came to us to open a restaurant, which we've never been in the restaurant business, either one of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we kind of thought about that, and we went on vacation. We went down to the lake in the Ozarks.
Mm.
And when we were down there, we thought, well, this would be a nice place to move to, and we really liked it down there. And our daughter was in Phoenix area at the time, and we told her what we was thinking about doing. She said, well, you need to come down here and check this out first.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, all right. So we went down to Phoenix, and we liked the area down there, and we opened up a restaurant down there. And our very first guests, or customers, was a couple. They were probably in their mid-80s.
Mm-hmm.
They came in, sitting there, went over, and I talked to them. Real nice couple, and they retired at age 65, somewhere in there, and they retired for about 5 years. They decided to drive a truck in. They did that for about 7 years, and they really enjoyed it, And they said how great our food was, and that they will definitely come back. Well, they never did come back. So, and then about 6 months later, after we opened the restaurant, that was back in 2008, when the economy really took a nosedive.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we lost the restaurant, we lost our house, all the money that we had in our 401k, we took that out, to get the restaurant. We didn't have nothing. I mean, we was completely broke. We had to have a garage sale just to get some money.
Mm.
And trying to figure out what we were going to do, and for some reason I didn't really get upset or tight or anything about it. And that first couple that came in there, I looked at them and I said, you know what, how would you like to travel the country just like retired people do, but get paid for it?
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, well, what do you got in mind? I couldn't look her right in the eye. I said, how about a truck driver? Need truck drivers. And I kind of heard this thump, when she fell. Well, not really.
Right.
And so I told her I said, here's what I'll do. I'll go get my license, And then after I get my license, if I like it, you get your license. And so that's how we ended up becoming truck drivers. And I thought, and we really enjoy this. And, I still think about that old couple. They came in there one time. I said, I think they were angels, kind of guiding us or pushing us to do this.
Planting the seed.
Yep, planting the seed.
Yeah, and you wouldn't even, I had no idea about it when I first met him. But kind of on account of them, that's what brought us to this. And,
since we've been driving trucks, we've experienced so many things as far as like YouTube videos, books we read to each other. Like if one's driving, the other one's off, and we'll read. We've been through several books that way. It's like we've been in a college for 8 years.
No, it's amazing what it has led to.
I think this is where we're meant to be.
Yep. It's opened our minds, it's opened our eyes, and
then we found Shane.
Yeah, we came across your channel, and just a lot of unique people. And
all you guys.
Yeah, everyone, we love listening to you and Eileen, on the Power of 8.
You, Michelle, everybody you have.
Yeah, she's in here now. Eileen is, anyway. I'm not sure. I know Michelle was on earlier, so.
Hi, Eileen.
Michelle. And everybody in the chat.
Yeah.
We don't get to chat along, but once in a while we can see them.
I'm glad you tuned us in, though. That's cool. It's just cool to imagine you, on the highway, just part of the conversation, at least listening in,
Yeah, it's funny because we hear all these things and we get all these ideas, and I have a sister and her husband, Charlie and Leon. They live in Kansas City, and about once a month we kind of call them, and we'll spend 2 or 3 hours on the phone discussing a lot of this stuff, and it's really enjoyable. I guess it's the power of 4 when we do that, but we share ideas and things, but a lot of it comes from what we hear, and we share, like you, we let them know about you, so they listen into your show quite a few times, so it's really been unique, and it gives us a lot of food for thought. And we're kind of like you, on the fence, but we're always willing to listen to everything and not just poo-poo everything.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times you get to a certain age where it feels like you've had to change the way you think about stuff so much that it's like, you don't want to fall for that again, sort of an idea. So that's sort of the whole model with Unbiased and On the Fence is consider everything and fall for nothing is pretty much what I'm trying to say,
Right, right. Well, like some nights I won't have anything on. I just enjoy driving and kind of being out there looking at the stars and this type of thing. And then the other night, this thought came to me, and this is when I was talking about all the synchronicities, all the things that happen that made me make this decision instead of that decision. And I look back, and it seems like our lives are just filled with synchronicities if we just stop, look, and study and think about it.
Yeah.
And I thought, a lot of times there's talk about free will, and I'm wondering, maybe the free will is while we're a soul, before we decide to come into the earth plane. We're up there talking to God, and, God says, all right, girl, you got the choice. You tell me, and I decide, what parents I want, what siblings, and you kind of map out your whole life, your whole journey. I was always here that we are today exactly where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
We're not here by by accident. We're here on purpose. So, and I'm saying, well, maybe the free will is before we come down here, we map out our journey. God says, okay, I'm going to make sure you live your journey, like you planned it. So we probably live our life more by synchronicities, which is God pushing us or pulling us or pointing us in the direction that we decided to go on this journey.
Yeah.
Before we got here.
I totally agree.
I kind of tossed that around, and I thought, well, maybe that's when free will came into place.
Right.
Up there before we came here. So while we live here, our lives are really by synchronicities, which is God, guiding us in the direction we want to go. A lot of times we think it's our free will, and it is our free will that we chose this journey before we got here.
Yeah. Because most people, while they're here, their free will would have them win the lottery or something, right? Have it easy,
Oh, but yeah, it's just you try. Maybe the older you get, the more you try to listen to your heart. God talking to you.
Yeah.
I heard something which I thought really made a lot of sense. Is a lot of people call it gut feeling. Well, I had this gut feeling, that I probably shouldn't have done that, but I did it anyway. Well, that gut feeling, the heart, I call that inspiration. But what happens with a lot of people, they get that inspiration, whatever it might be, whether they want to write a book, So what they do, rather than living by that inspiration, they send that inspiration up to the brain, where the ego sits. And the ego says, no, you don't want to do that, or what are you going to do for income and all this? And so what happens is a lot of times we live our lives by intention instead of by inspiration. Because the ego can talk you out of things and talk you into things. A lot of times if you follow that gut instinct or that inspiration God talking to you, they say if you act on that right away, that's what you should be doing. And that's kind of what we did with the driving. Once that feeling came, we just acted on it right away and didn't send it up to the brain and try to have to do something, figure it all out and everything.
Yeah, that's the thing. The brain gets in the way a lot of times when you get those intuitive messages that they seem like thoughts, but then you overanalyze them with your brain, and sometimes we don't act on them, and then later on we regret not acting on it because I had a feeling I should or shouldn't have done that, and I wish I'd listened to it. And I often tell people, how many times do you feel like you should or shouldn't have done something, and you follow that intuition and you regret it? Now, sometimes you feel like, maybe I shouldn't go this way home, I should go another way, and nothing ever happened, so you don't realize what would have happened if you'd gone the other way or if you hadn't listened to it. But I can't think of a time I regret following my gut instinct about something.
Yep, exactly. The only times I ever seem to have regret is when I didn't follow that gut instinct.
Agreed. Yep, totally, man. But like even starting this channel was just a kind of an idea I had, kind of like you guys about going over the road. And here I am, the happiest I've ever been, coming together with so many wonderful people. And I could have never imagined. This is beyond anything, any of my wildest imaginations of what could have come about with this whole thing,
Oh, yeah, that's neat. Yep, exactly. Now, we really enjoy it. We're glad that you followed your inspiration.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I hope we can encourage other people. And, I was just thinking about that. You're talking about this couple that came in and kind of planted this little seed. And I'm sitting here while you're telling the story, and I'm thinking, how many people are you planting this seed about doing the truck driving thing? And, you just have no idea of it's that butterfly effect. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, you have no idea. Just like that couple, they probably had no idea.
Yeah.
That, you know,
Yeah.
life is fascinating. It is.
Yeah,
I
it is.
find it more fascinating, and especially when you get out of the duality.
Yeah.
So you try to get out of that thing and just kind of be a spectator and kind of watch what's going on.
Yeah.
And not be judgmental about it.
Yeah.
So
It is tough.
I know it is. You know, it's, like I say, we listen to a lot of the radio and YouTubes and a lot of mediums and before Trump was in nomination, we were listening to a lady, and I can't remember her name, and she channeled through St. Michael, the Archangel.
Mm-hmm.
And she, through St. Michael, said that Donald Trump is going to be the Republican candidate and that he will be president of the United States. And back then I'm thinking, wow, this will be something because, you know, how everybody thought, well, he wouldn't have a chance or whatever. And
yeah.
Here he became president. And I thought, man, that is something. Here she predicted it, and she wasn't even quivering about it. She just was right out there and just said it how it was, you know. And she gave all the reasons why, and it had to do a lot with the number 7 that's in his, I forget what they call it, and everything. But it was very fascinating. And then you listen about going to the 5B, and there's a lot of cleansing that needs to take place.
Mm.
And I look at that now, and they said it's just like if you had a carpet, you vacuum that carpet over and over. The carpet looks new. You know, you think, well, the carpet's clean. But then if you take a steam cleaner in right away over that carpet, you'd be amazed at how much dust and dirt still came out of that carpet. Just vacuum.
Yeah.
And that's what needs to take place here. The same thing is before we can get to the 5D, a cleansing needs to take place.
Yeah.
And with Trump in there, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, wow, you talked about a cleansing and bringing things to the surface. I was just amazed. I didn't realize there was that much anger and frustration out there, and I was just flabbergasted by it all.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it. And then over the last 10, 20 years, you know, whenever you talk to somebody about who's ever in office, like the 8 years, whether it was Republican or Democrat, people were never happy about it, you know. They would vote for somebody, well, I'd say, well, why'd you vote for him? You're not good. Well, it's less than 2 evils.
Yeah.
Or I know what this person's like, you know, and I know what we can expect from them. And well, I voted. I don't like either one, but I have voted because if I don't vote, I don't have the right to play. I don't remember anyone ever saying, you know, I really like this president.
Yeah. Oh, did I lose you? You guys might have hit a bad spot on the highway there. But yeah, I totally agree. In fact, you know, with the, I'll pick up and hopefully we don't drop the call here. Looks like it's still connected. But yeah, with the whole, I don't really participate in elections because I just see it all. At some point I realized it was like 2 wings of the same bird and everything. And, you know, even with Trump, I don't know, but my hope is that maybe he can help tear down this fake system and bring something in. You know, I'm on the fence about that. I mean, I know that's some people's view on it. And I totally agreed with Magenta Pixie had a video where she sort of went into Trump and how he's perceived on different levels. And if you don't perceive them from a higher level, you will see them as sort of this divider, so to speak. And I think on some levels, it's hard to get beyond that. If you're viewing it sort of from the natural 3D level, then it's hard to have any optimism. But, at the end of the day, like you were saying, everything sort of works out the way it should. And I really believe that. I don't feel like we have to get sucked into the duality of it. We don't have to get sucked into the partisanship, the left versus right, because, there's crooks on both sides of the aisle, and the whole system is, in my opinion, a false dichotomy. You have this choice or this choice, and like what you were just saying, it's like normally people are just picking the lesser of two evils when they go to the polls. So I almost feel like I don't want to feel responsible for going and voting for someone at their actions, so I tend to just watch from the sidelines. I know if everybody thought like me, there wouldn't be, people voting and stuff. So, I understand that argument that you need to go and take part and all that. But for me, part of my MO here, just this whole unbiased and on the fence thing, is to stay that way, to stay honest to who I am. I don't participate because, I really don't know people's true intentions. I can go with my heart and what I feel and things like that. And, of course, there's a mixture of what we see going on in the natural, and then what we can see might be going on behind the scenes. So I just don't participate in it. I do enjoy watching and dreaming of what could happen. But at the end of the day, I just don't participate. I do keep an eye on it. I used to be really, really into politics, and I grew up in a family that I know I've talked about this before, where it was one parent was a Republican, one was a Democrat, and at the time I would ask my parent about, well, why do you do this when this person supports this and that, and finally they just said, well, I got to look at how it's going to affect me, and most of the hot button issues that are out there, nothing's going to be done about them anyway. So if you look at something like if you're really for or against abortion, those things usually don't change from president to president because they're so gridlocked, and it's such a hot topic that nothing ever really changes too much with it. So he says, if you can, it was my dad, he said, if you can focus on the things that, the policies that are likely to change, then and I thought that was really an intelligent way to go about it. But still, at the end of the day, I don't want to participate in something. So I think the last time I voted was midterms. I guess that would have been '02, the '02 midterms. I think that's when it was. And yeah, I haven't been back, and I don't plan on going back. I plan on hopefully this whole thing falling away and we can get a real government in there, or no government at all, because to me it seems like it's just a way of ripping people off and stuff, So, everybody put their hand down. You can raise your hand if you want to join in with the conversation, and I will go to you if anybody in here left wants to talk. But yeah, I appreciate it. I hope you guys are safe out there on the road, and it's just a connection issue and not, well, maybe your phone died or something. Yeah, it looks like the call did drop. I will get your names off the screen. Feel free to call back if you get back on, though. I don't know. Sherry, you're in there. Why don't you call in and talk about what it was like on at the get-together and stuff? I think you had one of the best seats in the house, sort of, where you could listen in on everybody. Yeah, that's what it's like. The whole government thing. It's like, I don't know. I've been at little cities where there's like volunteer fire departments, and it's like, yeah, this works out really good. And then self-governance, so to speak, on a smaller level. But it seems like whenever you've got so much power in an office, it's just hard to avoid the corruption, So that's just my thought on it. But then again, I don't feel like we have to be That's funny. Yeah, no, not gonna run for president. Oh, that sounds awful. Yeah, I never envy a president. I always think, oh my God, how you got, you're in traffic, Sherry? People honking at you? That's funny. Sounds chaotic out there in the world sometimes, doesn't it? But you know, we can pull back from the chaos. A lot of times we jump on in at any level. It's like, man, there's YouTubers I enjoy watching that, you know, I feel like they have a great heart, but they're sort of pulled into the chaos, and they're sort of spreading the fear and uncertainty about stuff. And man, it just, you know, people are where they're at, so I respect where they're at. But then again, I feel like, man, you don't even have to worry about this, you know. Awesome, Nancy. Would love to hear from you. I know you've had a lot going on. And also, I should make sure Nicola's not trying to get a hold of me. Missed her last week. And I just have to mention this because this is so, I don't know, it's probably too late for him to be in the chat right now, but John Benny sent me a guitar from all the way from Europe, and it was like Christmas when I got it. I just couldn't believe it. He got a new guitar, and he was like, man, I've had this thing for 20 years, and I wanted it to have a nice new home. And he sent it to me. And it's like I manifested it, because I've been really wanting a guitar, and oh man, I don't know. I was just speechless when it came in the mail. I'm like, what the heck? Where did this come from? You know? And for you guys that don't know, he's done like some music videos. He did the one when we went to Sedona. He took a lot of the footage and put it in the background and came up with a song. And really a kind new 5D person, you know, Starseed kind of guy. And gosh, it just touched my heart so deeply that he sent me this guitar he's had for 20 years. And I know what it's like to have your baby. It's like your baby, you know what I mean? And to think enough of me to know I needed a guitar and send it to me like that it really touched me deeply that he could do that. So what I told him is I was going to lay a track down, you know, like music and singing and guitar, or actually just guitar singing, and then send it to him and let him build on top of it, since he's got like the drums and the bass and his guitars, and see what we can come up with like this sort of a around the globe collaboration. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. I need to come up with some time to build up the calluses on my fingers again, but hopefully have something going on with that really soon. At least I'll be working on it really soon. I don't know how long it'll take, but it was just, wow. I'm trying to remember where he's from. Was it, let me look it up, because for me, all the little places, the countries in Europe are like states are to me here in the United States, because they're really all really close together. So I think like Norway, Holland, places like that. Let me see if I can scroll and see where he's at. Give him a proper shout out, because oh, Scotland. Yeah, I should have remembered that. Scotland. So yeah, I think I'm mixing up Willie, Maestro Willie. But yeah, so all the way from Scotland, and you know what? I took it out of the box, and it was still in tune. I mean, the E string was, I could have played it just like it was. I mean, it was that in tune. Matter of fact, I did play it just like it was. But the E string was just slightly, just a little bit flat, just the tiniest bit. And I'm like, man, think of the temperatures it went through, and getting bumped around on the airplane or boat or however it came over here to the United States, and it made it all the way to me, and it was still in tune. I don't know. I was just really, really touched by the whole thing. I wanted to bring it up. I was going to wait until we come up with the music, but it's just such a thing in my life right now that, that I can talk about, that I wanted to go ahead and just say something and thank him for it from the bottom of my heart. And thank you, Debbie Hazelton. You're such a beautiful soul. I send out my tweets, and I don't really tweet much, but I almost immediately after I send out the tweet, I'll see a notification that you retweeted it. So I appreciate that. It lets me know my tweets went out. Sherry, I thought your mom was in here earlier on. Oh, there she is. Be careful, people honk. Okay, any hands up? I keep forgetting to look over there. No hands up. If anybody listening wants to talk about whatever, feel free to. John Benny's also the guy, in Michelle Wolf's intro, she has the video, because he made a song for her as well. So really cool stuff. Yeah, don't call in if you're driving. I'd hate for you to get in a wreck or something, especially if people are honking. And thank you so much for getting Jeanette to call in, because... Oh, thank you, Atsuko. Yeah, my music's actually available online. I don't really push it very often, but if you want to hear some of my original music, I was in a band called Silent Page that you can probably Google, I think, or just look them up on YouTube, because the record company, I think, puts their music up there, and I used to be the lead singer and 12-string guitar player in that band. The album was called Chapter 2, and then I put up my own album that had just been sitting in my house, or on my computer for 8 years or 11 years. And I released it last year just because I really poured my heart into it. And although a lot of my views have changed, it's kind of religious, because I was really more deeply into the Christian religion when I wrote it. But, I did write it from my heart, and it still comes through. So it came from a very real place. Oh, did we get them back? Hold on a second. Let me see here. See if they raise their hand. Trying to remember if that's the same number. I know it's the same area code. Press *2 if you want to talk. I'm trying to find that email. Let's see. There we go. Let's go back to the phone lines here. 303, you're on the air. This is Shane. Who am I talking to?
Yeah, Shane, this is Daryl Pam again.
Okay, just making sure. I recognized the 303, but I couldn't remember the rest of it, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah, we lost you. We went through the port of entry, and we're in the area now, so we may end up dropping the call again. So
we were about done.
We were about done. What was the last thing I said you remembered?
That's a good question. Oh, yeah, we were talking about Trump and politics and being surprised, and you were saying you kind of stay away from, you watch it, but...
Yeah.
And I was building on what you were saying.
And then whenever we talk to people over the last 10, 20 years, whatever, nobody's ever happy with politicians that are elected. They just they vote for someone because of lesser of two evils, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And but in fact, being we are the collective consciousness, no matter who it was you talked to, everybody wanted change. They wanted something better.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I believe is that we as a collective consciousness elected Trump because God heard our call and figured, well, I'm going to put somebody in there that's not a politician because the cleansing needs to be done. And what it did, I believe, why so many people are angry too, is because it has pulled them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
They would sooner stay there, bitch and gripe, this type of thing, and now they're seeing all of this happen. And ultimately, if all this exposure comes about, and if it is true, and people find out what is really going on, maybe that will create all of them to be more connected to God, praying more, and learning to forgive.
Yeah.
And I think if everybody gets to that point, simply through the election of Trump, the end result, I believe, is going to help us move much quicker to the 5D.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, tilling up the ground to plant something new. You got to tear it up a little bit, you know.
Well, you do. It's got to be clean. You know, it's just like if you don't clean it, all you're doing is it's going to. If you vacuum it, you know, the top of the carpet will look, oh, okay, well, this looks all right, but then it just collects more dirt deep down, you know. And until it's all brought to the surface, it has to be cleansed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I just sit back and enjoy the show.
Yeah, that's really all you can do without getting too triggered, is just to sit back and observe instead of being part of the ball game going on or part of the play you're watching on the stage. You're just sort of in the audience, and that's really the only way I found to really rise above the duality of it all. Realize that at the end of the show, they're all going to bow and they played their parts well, and it's hard to have a hero without a villain. And, you know, so I kind of look at it like that with this whole thing and just not get sucked into it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, that, like I say, that the end result is the collective consciousness. They've been wanting this for years. They just didn't realize what they were going to get.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, it's like a lot of times things that get us out of our comfort zone. I think back to your story, you and Pam, when you said that, you know, it took the economy getting bad for you to sort of, you know, you were taken from your comfort zone, and it moved you into where you're at right now, you know? So it's not all bad. I mean, it feels bad at the time, but it can be a good thing.
Oh, yeah, you know, we have no regrets. To us, this is one of the best things that ever happened to us.
Yeah, same here.
You know, and, you know, it's...
we didn't know that at the time.
We didn't know it at the time, but the important thing is God knew it.
Yeah.
And he made sure we followed the journey we picked for our free will before we got here.
Yeah.
So we just enjoyed the journey. The only thing is, I don't know whether I let him know that I want to be around for the 5D.
Yeah.
Or if I'm supposed to leave before the 5D and maybe be on the other side to help when people get there. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah, and that's the whole thing about it. People act like they have it figured out. I'm like, you know, honestly, I mean, we all have to be honest that we don't know how this is going to play out. If we're really, truly honest with ourselves, we don't really know. You know, all we can do is the best we can with what we have, what we can affect in our own lives, and hope that carries us over like we've been carried to this point throughout our life, you know?
Exactly. So, yeah, we're just enjoying the journey and trying to do everything we can to live in the now.
Yeah.
Trying to open door for the light of the universe to flow through.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. And that really is what I'm starting to really figure out, is it is really about the journey, or like that one country song, The Climb. You know, that's really the main thing. You know, you don't go for a show for the finale. I mean, you enjoy the finale, but you go for the show. And, you know, I think a lot of times we miss that whole point because we're so worried about the future that we don't enjoy the present, you know?
I know it. And, you know, I remember when it seemed like we was always doing that, you know. Today would get here and we're concerned about tomorrow or next week or whatever. And it takes work. I mean, you just have to realize to start thinking about next month. Like, well, wait a minute, what about now?
Right.
Let's just enjoy this. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah,
Well,
but we don't really have any good stories. We watch the skies every day and every night. We're watching the skies, but we haven't really seen anything yet.
Yeah.
And so many of your people come in with such cool stories.
yeah, I know. I feel jealous sometimes too. Not in a bad way, but you know, I'm always looking for something and always like, oh, when am I going to see a spacecraft or something cool, you know? But I just keep looking. I don't give up. I know it'll happen at some point. And I've seen some cool things, but you know, it's like you're never quite satisfied. You always want more, you know.
Yeah. I'll share one story with you, and then we'll let you go.
All right.
For other callers. But about 2 or 3 years ago, we were coming back. We're going through Shreveport, Louisiana, and we was on Highway 20, and we always take the 220 loop around Shreveport. And it's about 17 miles. And we love going around there on that loop because we go over a lake, and there's nice homes there around the lake. It's really beautiful. And one night, it was about 2 in the morning, somewhere's in there.
Mm-hmm.
And Pam woke up. I was driving. She woke up, and she needed to use the restroom. And I said, well, we'll stop when we get around 220 here. And she goes, oh, we're at 220. And I said, yeah, full moon is going to be beautiful, you know. So she got up, got dressed, we got up there. And she got up there. We just got on the 220 loop, and we was looking forward to seeing the moon shine on that lake. And the next thing, I kind of stopped, and I said, well, here's the exit to get on Highway 20. Back on Highway 20. And we kind of looked at each other and said, well, we didn't go over the lake. And sure enough, it was like a snap of the finger. We was at Highway 20, and we don't even recall. We never went over the lake.
Oh, wow.
We don't recall going through the whole.
We don't go through the whole thing. You know, we just got up there, and all of a sudden, like within maybe half a minute, we were taking the exit.
Wow.
And so there wasn't hardly any traffic on the road that night, and that early that morning. And I said, I wondered if, you know, we got in an accident, we were killed, because we hear about things happening, and people all of a sudden, you know, they don't realize something, you know, and they're just kind of looking. And I said, I wonder if that happened to us. So I reached over and I pinched her, and she pinched me. We could kill each other. And I said, well, maybe we can do that if we were killed. I said, I don't know. So we both kind of quiet thinking about that. And so I said, I know I'll call Char and Leon, my sister and her husband. I said, because they'll always answer their phone at this time of the night. Nobody else does.
Mm-hmm.
And so we called, woke them up, and told them what had happened, and we just wanted to make sure we were alive, and that everything was well, you know. And she goes, yeah, you know, so they're really interested in what we were telling them. So we hung up, and then about a half hour later, they called us back, and they got to thinking about it. Well, maybe they should call us to see if we answered the phone, you know, and it was. But anyway, we lost out on 17 miles, roughly 17, 20 minutes there that we can't account for. And later on, we were at a truck stop, and we met this couple. As a matter of fact, they were from Oklahoma. And somehow we got talking about stuff, you know, religious and that stuff. And I said, well, let me tell you what happened to us. And he goes, he kind of sat back, you know, in his chair and looked at his wife. And he goes, a couple of years ago, he said we were on our way to Laredo, Texas, and we lost out on 300 miles.
Wow.
Same thing. So, I don't know. I think we must have got abducted or something real quick and placed us down at the other. It was really strange.
It's a strange feeling.
Strange feeling when you lose out on time like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting chills thinking about it. That's pretty wild.
It is, and I'm thinking, well, if we ever lose out on miles, I'm sure we probably got abducted or something. But, yeah. But that's probably the most unique thing that has happened to us in our driving truck experience. So far, anyway.
Yeah, that's exciting though. 300 miles, that would be pretty trippy though.
Yeah, he said they lost out on 300 miles. They've been driving truck for probably about 30 years. And he said it happened to them twice. He said the other time they lost out on 70 miles between Kansas City and St. Louis.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, very interesting, so.
Well, I appreciate you guys calling in.
Yeah, we enjoyed talking to you finally. We see you a lot, so now we got to talk to you, and maybe someday we'll get to meet you.
Yeah, definitely get a hold of me if you're ever coming through Tulsa, because I live right off of 244, and I can come up to because I know how hard it is with the truck or whatever. I'll just come up to the truck stop while you guys are filling up or doing whatever and taking a break, and come up there and give you guys a hug and meet you in person. That'd be awesome.
Oh, that would be. We definitely will do that.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, we'll send you our love, light, peace to you and all the listeners, and even to all those that aren't listening.
Good later.
All right. Bye-bye now. Lots of love to you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you too. Bye.
That is awesome. Yeah, and to add to what they're saying about the truck driver story there, while I wait for anyone that might want to raise their hand, press star 2. It was, I don't know, I want to say 6 months ago that my wife was talking to my mother-in-law and her husband, which they were truck drivers too, right? And so she kind of said, well, what's Shane been up to or whatever? So of course she's like, well, he's got this YouTube channel, and it kind of opened up to her discussing the Mandela effect or whatever to her mom, and and kind of thinking that she'd kind of just be like, what the heck are you talking about? Instead, she had a story of her own to offer, and they had made this trip and dropped this load off. Was completely empty, heading to the next place or whatever. They stopped, and they still had half of a load on the truck, and they had to turn around and take it back. Now, when they closed the doors on the back of it, it was empty. So they don't know how the heck half the load went back on the truck. And so it was like one of those things, almost like a reversal in time rather than a jump forward. Or, it wasn't even the whole load on there. So anyway, it was just something really strange about it. But instead of her thinking it sounded crazy what I talk about on my YouTube channel, they had their own story. And, and I think people, just like Pam and Daryl were just talking about, opening up and talking to people, and they had their own experience. And just people just don't talk about stuff too much like that. And when you that's why I love this channel, because, people come on and share their stories, and then other people are like, oh, I can finally share my story with a group that won't think I'm crazy, and then hear what I have to say, because, sure, I've met people that make stuff up and things like that, but for the most part, people share what they experience, and why would they just make something up, So, crazy stuff going on out there that just can't be explained, and really that's one of the reasons why I loved Coast to Coast AM, and, I always thought it'd be cool to have a program like that, and I think this is actually better in my opinion. A lot more love, a lot more interactivity with chat room and everything. So let me go. Yay, we got a raised hand. Let me go back to the phone lines here. A 360 area code. This is Shane. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Shane, this is Shanti.
Oh, hey, Shanti. Welcome back. People loved your call last
hey,
time.
how are you doing?
Oh, doing wonderful.
I like your show. Once again, thank you again.
I like you calling in.
So, I wonder, how often do you meditate?
Probably not as much as I should. Probably, I'd say maybe a couple of times, usually around 20 minutes, a couple times a day. But sometimes I find it's more beneficial for me to engage in art or music. It seems to provide a better connection without me feeling so... Because lately when I try to meditate, after about 20 minutes, I'll get this dizziness that just feels like it takes over. And, I'll start to go into a trance state, and it's just so heavy. It's almost like I took a sleeping pill or something, So a lot of times I have so much to do, I'll wake up and I don't want to feel like I need to go right back to sleep, So, but yeah, I will silence my mind and just kind of just let the thoughts come in. And I usually get ideas at those times. So
that's before when I meditate, I will go off to a zone. What I usually golden spiral. Then I just go off to where la la land. But I noticed that lately too, when I meditate, and then I will go off to a zone. But when I come back, I'm sitting there thinking, shoot, I need a nap.
Yeah.
Because before, when I meditate, I come back, I'm completely good to go for 12 hours. And now, I need a nap.
Yeah. I've been hearing that a lot with people. They're going way deeper than they usually go in a quicker amount of time. Like, I hear about somebody meditating 45 minutes or an hour, and I'm like, I don't see how you do it, man, because I would for sure be asleep by then. Even if I'm sitting up, I'd be slouched over asleep after that long for sure. It's just too heavy.
Usually what happens when I meditate, I notice is that my body gets really, really cold.
Mm-hmm.
So that's usually jerk me out of meditation because my body gets so cold that I actually have to get up and put jackets on, even though I have blankets around me when I meditate.
Mm-hmm.
So, one thing I wonder, how is your crown chakra lately and your third eye chakra?
Well, I do get visuals when I close my eyes, and I call it the purple flame or the violet flame. I don't know if that's the same thing that people refer to as the violet flame, but I can... Just like with my eyes closed, it feels like it gets to the point where it feels like they're open, and I just see this really slow moving violet moving across my field of vision. And I kind of just focus on that to not think about, because it's all about emptying your thoughts, but it's so hard to quiet my mind sometimes that I just focus on that and my breathing and just sit there quietly. And then a lot of times I'll get an idea to pop in my head, and then I'll have to let me go check that out, So that's usually how it goes for me. But I don't really know about tingling or anything like that. I've had the flashes.
It doesn't get...
It doesn't get what?
It doesn't get at all? It doesn't get sensitive at all?
No, like I said, I've had it where it seems like the light comes on in the room or something, and it didn't. So it's like something flashing, and I don't know if that's my third eye or what, but... Yeah, I don't know.
This is something I'm pondering. There are two different things I'm pondering about.
Mm-hmm.
First is lately when I give my husband Reiki and my neighbor Reiki, I make prayers, basically a prayer for protection and prayer for being gratitude and ask for help, right?
Mm-hmm.
And always remind myself I'm just a straw, that the energy flows through me and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow, this is something I'm pondering about, the prayer within me changed. The words didn't... It's like I'm not thinking about it, but the words... This energy healing session is for beings everywhere on all dimensions and all universes who is willing to receive them.
Mm.
So I'm wondering if there's somehow a lot of us actually being triggered that subconsciously we are not aware of it, but we are connecting to our higher self when we are awake. Because I have never made prayers for beings everywhere on all dimensions and all universes when it comes to Reiki healing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, well, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that's good because, I think at some level, when you imagine God's everywhere and everything's fractals of God, and you think of it like an ocean, God being an ocean of water, and of course there might be some impurities in some of the drops of water and things like that. It's still all water and all needs love and all needs purified, and we should just love. Love's sort of the answer for everything at the root of it. So I'm all for praying for your enemies as well as your family and friends.
It's kind of hard to kind of in some ways as us as humans, it's kind of hard to pray for somebody you're not big on because you really just want to kick their ass sometimes.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just found myself being guided to that prayer over and over again when I give people, my husband and my neighbor Reikis, because it's just like healing sends out to everybody everywhere. Mm-hmm. So I just find that a bit interesting. Next thing I want to ask you, so sometimes I get guided instructions, right? I got guided instructions to do certain kind of breathing. So that when you meditate, or you can just sit quietly or walking, you have conscious breathing. You draw in that when you take a deep breath in, you draw in the energy from above through your crown chakra and go into your heart chakra. At the same time, drawing the energy from earth up through your root chakra, go into your heart chakra, and let it sit there for a second or two. And then as you exhale, you blast that energy out. Because I don't know why, I was guided to do that kind of breathing a few times, and every time I do it, I felt this tremendous power, tremendous cleansing and love within me and everything around me. Have you ever tried that breathing?
What's the name of it?
I have no idea. I just guided to do that. So I just kind of, start doing that. Just like when you take a deep breath, you imagine you draw in the energy and the breath from the universe through your crown chakra down to your heart chakra. At the same time, draw in the energy from earth through your root chakra up to your heart chakra, and then let it sit for about a second or two, and then you exhale. And imagine that energy blasted out of your heart and everywhere and everything around you. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. I've been doing these what are they called? It's like with the tuning forks with Joyce on Thursdays. That's why I've been coming on Thursdays. Mm-hmm. I've been doing these sessions dealing with my issues and stuff, and it's like that where I release things into the earth, but I breathe in through my crown chakra, just like what you're talking about. And then when we do the meditations on Saturday nights, we breathe in through the heart, and that just feels so amazing when you just imagine, the Creator's love breathing in through your chest rather than just breathing it in through your mouth. So I have noticed things with similar stuff like that.
Yeah. I just lately, I don't know why I get guided to do certain things that just makes no sense to me. Mm-hmm. But then I try them, and it just feels really good. It's,
yeah,
better than all that. So it just, I told my husband's like, oh, what about me getting late? I'm going, you come later. Anyway, so that's just one thing I was wondering, like when people do breathing, it just, I know the breathing techniques from different people that I learned from, but that was something completely brand new. So I'm just wondering if anybody has ever tried that. And
actually, Debbie is in the chat. Debbie in the chat says, weird, I do that breathing, nobody taught me. So she was intuitively, taught to do it or whatever. So definitely going to try it now. I'm glad you said that. So you breathe in through your crown chakra and your root chakra from the earth, and your crown chakra from,
let it meet,
and then let it meet in your heart.
And let it sit for a second or two, and exhale and let it blast out everything around you. It feels so good, and it makes you want to. It just drags you to feeling that or want to cry.
Yeah.
But be aware, your crown chakra will get sensitive.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's
yeah,
how I
I'll
feel.
definitely try that for sure. That sounds exciting.
Yeah. So let me ask you something, if
Mm-hmm.
I can joggle your mind a bit.
Yeah.
Are you always a self-confident person?
Well, kind of part of my whole unbiased on the fence thing is that I'm not all that confident, you know, in a way. It's like, at least in the information, you know, I feel like I'm confident in the fact that if I stay in love, that I'm protected. Like, I don't worry about dark energies like some people do and things like that, because looking back, I can see how I was protected my whole life for whatever reason. I recognize that. I don't, you know, and I'm on the fence about who's helping me or how it's happening or all that. But to look back, I can see I've been helped, you know, by some kind of loving force to get me to where I am right now, and I move forward in the trust of that. So, and that I'm confident in. But that's just for me. I don't tell anybody else they have to believe that way. It's my personal experience that I feel like I've had a divine hand of protection on my life. So I can move forward in trust and stuff like that. But as far as confidence, I usually, you know, like I've said before, I don't become the life of the party unless I don't see anybody else doing it. And then I feel responsible to, you know, pull from the ether the confidence I need to step up to the plate and do what I need to do. You know what I mean?
Well, my next question for you is, what do you see when you look at yourself in the mirror?
I just see a physical vessel rather than a person, I guess.
Have you ever really looked at yourself in the mirror, like look into your eyes when you look at yourself in the mirror?
Yeah, I've done that.
What do you see?
Well, I know, like, some people, like, feel fearful, like they're looking at another face. I don't really feel like that. I have done the staring trick where you can watch your face turn into other faces, and using a candle, and that was kind of, I don't want to say fearful, but just to see your face morph into a different face, and then you're like face to face with a face you don't recognize. It just gives you this jolt of adrenaline because it's kind of shocking, and it pulls you out of it really fast. So, but other than that, I don't know. Nothing spectacular or anything.
Well, this is about, 15 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was one of those things that I like to read books about how to, you know, basically better myself.
Mm-hmm.
So read one of those books. It said, go look at yourself in the mirror and see what you see. So I'm going to, well, what's the big deal? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going to look at myself in the mirror. I'm going to, I see me, you know, me, myself, and I.
Yeah.
So I kind of like, I went back and sit down and finished the rest of the chapter. And it says that don't just look at the mirror. I didn't read the complete instruction until afterward. So I'm going to, and then it says, look at yourself. What do you see, and what does your mind tell you?
Mm-hmm.
So I went back and looked at myself in the mirror, and I quiet myself down, and I realized I couldn't do it. I could not look at myself in the mirror because the stuff that in my mind that tells me who I am was all kind of stuff that other people told me who I am. Do you know what am I saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a deeper look at yourself, like, so not really just staring at yourself or just looking like we fix ourselves up in the morning, but really looking deeply at yourself and what you really see, what kind of person is really standing there, right?
Yeah, that's what I did. And I heard, I'm telling you, I heard the words that people told me when I was young, and none of them were pretty. So I started crying. I'm going like, shit, this is pretty bad if I cannot even look at myself in the mirror. I tell you, I'm not the best looking person in the world, but I'm not the worst. But how could I not even look at myself within my own soul and accept who I am?
Mm-hmm.
You know what am I saying?
Yeah.
So I'm going, okay, we got to do something about that. So every time when I send out a message to the universe with my heart, answer always comes. So sometime went by, I come across a book from Sylvia Brown. Her book is really easy to read if you just start on your spiritual path. Mind you, a lot of her stuff is repeat. So just buy a couple of books, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she was talking about reprogramming yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I read the instructions, and basically she said, just imagine you have a tape player, old-fashioned VHS tape player in your head. And anything that's negative that you hear, just imagine you have an eject button, push it out and toss it out. So I started doing that, but then I don't know what to put to replace that empty spot.
Yeah.
So I put an empty spot. You gotta put something, otherwise, another word is gonna fill in. So I simply leave it there as a blank, but as a candle, a white candle, just let it burn there.
Mm-hmm.
So I started ejecting a lot of those negative words that I have heard, that how other people defined me when I was young. So I got those out, and I'm going like, okay, Shanti, what's one positive thing that people said about you that you like?
Mm.
And then the first thing came into my mind was, some people always say I have a weird sense of humor. So I thought, that's pretty good, I can tickle myself. That's really good. I got no problem with that.
Right.
And then little by little, I start reprogram my own thoughts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost, I have to heal myself from the bottom up. I have to reprogram myself, tell myself, you are loved, you are wanted, and you are accepted. And then, little bit by little bit, it took me like over a year to do this. Every time I stand in front of the mirror, I'm just going like, shit, I do not like what I see. But now, I tell you, I can stand in front of mirrors and I can have a conversation with me, myself, and I. Say like, well, pretty rough day, isn't it? But it's okay. What have we learned?
Yeah.
So I wonder if anybody out there ever went through that process of really heal yourself.
Yeah.
I don't mind a shrink,
Mm-hmm.
but I always, the answer comes either within, if you're willing to dig in deep enough,
Mm-hmm.
or you have to be brave enough to go that route. Or you can go talk to a shrink, but you also have to learn from it, not just go there and lay out your problem and come back home and do everything again, go and lay out your problem.
Right.
So that's just what I'm wondering.
Yeah, maybe I need some mirror time because I don't typically, like looking in the mirror too much. I just, not any more than I have to anyway. I mean,
well,
it's not,
yeah. I never am big looking in the mirror, but with what that thing was talking about, that's when I realized that I need to do something with myself. But I tell you, like once you get through it, man, you can be your own best friend. You can stroke your own ego.
Yeah.
Anyway, but the thing is, it's just really a very humbling experience for me to be able to admit, okay, we got a lot of work to do, and we got a lot of healing to do, so let's just get on with it instead of crying about it every day. Let's just learn to love myself again and learn to love myself the proper way, that accepting me for who I am,
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Anywho, that's just what I'm wondering.
No,
Anywho,
I appreciate the nugget of
go.
truth, Shanti. It was a blessing to have you on again.
Well, I figure, sometimes when somebody get done talking, I'm give it a quick call and say a quick hi.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And then let somebody else bugging you.
Oh, no, you're not bugging me. Everybody always appreciates you coming on. They love your sense of humor, and I always appreciate the good laugh, too. You're so bubbly.
Thank you. Well, you have a wonderful evening.
Okay, you too. Lots of love to you, Shanti. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Very cool. Shinty. Let me get That was awesome. I guess we're going back to the phone lines.
Let's go.
You're listening to The Love Stream.
Unbiased and on the fence.
All right. I thought Frank was calling in. Yeah. Have you called in on this service, Frank? It's pretty easy once you do it. For some reason, people typically leave a number out of the show ID, though, for some reason. Maybe I left it out at the bottom. Maybe. Is this all my fault? All this time? I should have double-checked it. Okay, no, I thought I did it double-check. It's right. 1477973. All right, here we go. Going back to the phone lines to 707. This is Shane. You're live on the air.
Shane, it's Frank.
What's up, Frank?
How are you, brother?
Oh, man, good to talk to you again, bro. Frank from Sedona, and of course he's been in the chat and stuff. But quite interesting, while we were having our get-together here on 11/11 in Tulsa, I almost said St. Louis. That's weird because I haven't been there in so long. It's weird that it almost rolled off my tongue like that. But while we were here in Tulsa with our get-together, you went up to, is it Portland?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And had a get-together there on 11/11, which is really cool because Sandy was there, right?
Yes. Yeah, she put it on. She, awesome job. Awesome.
Awesome. Did you get your artwork from her yet?
Yes, I did, and she told me about your surprise. I thought that was funny. And
man, it was such a. I saw it. I saw her name on the envelope, and man, I was so excited that like I did this build up to it, right? So I opened the envelope, and she had a note on the outside of it. So I read the note. I take my time reading the note, just knowing I'm gonna pull apart these because there's these two pieces of cardboard in there to keep the artwork from bending or whatever. So I'm like, all right, let me read the note first, and so I'm reading it, and it's beautiful, of course, and then I pull out the cardboard and spread them apart, and there's nothing between them. And I'm like, wait a minute. I look on the floor, I look back in the envelope. She didn't put the artwork in there. So I just had to chuckle because I knew she'd end up sending it again, but it was one of those moments. I felt trolled for a moment, even though I know she did it on accident or whatever, but it was a moment that I got a chuckle out of it, so.
yeah, I talk to her every day.
Oh,
and,
nice.
she told me, like, oh, man, guess what I did, the other day. She's like, like, that's funny. It was just funny. It's whatever.
I felt better it was me and not someone else, to be honest with you. I'm like, I'm glad it happened to me and not someone else, because I don't know why. I just felt like it's okay it happened to me, but, I don't know, I could take it, so to speak. So I took one for the team.
Oh, and speaking of that art, gosh, because it's kind of I don't know, her art that she sent out, the print is kind of a unique size, I guess I should say. And I looked all over to 3 different stores looking for a frame. I couldn't find a special frame for that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, heck, I'm going to make one. I'm going to make a frame, and I'm going to make one, but I'm going to make one for you, too, and I'm going to send it to you. So her art's in my frame that I sent you, so it fits, and everything's going to be, it'll work, And so
awesome.
I'm going to send out one and send you one.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'll send you my address. Man, that would be cool, because I was sitting there, I was already trying to think of, how I was going to display it, because I know I want to display it, but... So yeah,
I got it. I'm gonna make something so it looks like a little picture window, so you can put it in there like a little window on your wall. And I'll make something here in the next, I don't know, probably next week. I'll make some frames up, and I got all the stuff. But I want to send you one because it's like, and I mentioned it to her, and she's like, "That's so cool," because it's like she did it out of love, and I'm doing this out of love, and it'll just be up for you on your wall forever out of the whole thing. And so. I just like that'd be I don't know. I just want to do it for you, Shane.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I'd be
and then you can just that would be cool. I'd be happy to. But yeah, I heard a little bit. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I wish I had that art to show everyone, because I know not everyone got to see it, but I don't have it readily available to.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I heard a little bit on Tuesday. You talked a little bit about the show, your meetup, but I didn't know if there's any other stuff that you were talking that was there you wanted to bring up, because we were wondering too. We were like, I wonder what that is. I wonder. And then we heard that you were doing something like at 2:00, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We got together at 2:00. Now it was in a coffee house. We originally planned on meeting at like right at Caddy Corner across the street from the coffee house. Is this place called Guthrie Green. It's basically a park that they'll typically have like concerts or events and things like that at it, but nothing was going on that weekend. So I'm like, that's perfect. We can just go over there. They got, a lot of places to sit. It's just a pretty place in an urban setting, like a park in the city. So I was thinking, man, it'd be great. We can have like a little group meditation or something like we did that night on the Rock. And I'm like, man, it'd just be beautiful, but we didn't get to do that part of it. And so because it had gotten way colder, it was like 15 degrees colder than what we were expecting. It was supposed to be closer to 60, and it was like lower 40s. But I think it actually might have been okay. But we had fun at the restaurant. We just didn't really, it wasn't set up to really kind of do a group meditation or anything like that. So we missed out on that part, but it was great just talking and meeting. And we stayed there I'm surprised they didn't kick us out, but we kept buying stuff. So, for them, it was like they had a crowd that just kept buying stuff, and I tipped real good. I'm sure everyone else did too, because I was just thankful that they were letting us hang out there. You know what I mean?
How was your feedback on all the response of the people that you met? From like, did everybody? Did they have the same experience like we have when we meet people, that are out there, and you actually, like, you get to actually physically hug people that you talk to? I don't know if you've got a lot of feedback on that or not. Is it? I don't know. I mean, maybe it was there, but it was just hugging everybody there.
Yeah, I made it a point to hug everybody, and I could tell a few people were sort of like kind of weirded out by it, but well, the guys anyway. The girls are huggers. Some guys are like a little too tough, but they're never too tough for a bear hug for me. You know what I mean? so yeah.
They gotta. Yeah, you just gotta. I think I hugged 3 people today when I was out shopping. I can't help it.
Yeah, I tried to be more careful in Sedona because but I don't know. They were just I just didn't want anybody not to feel like I was wanting to share the love with them too. So I was like, what if somebody pushing me away or something, fine or something. I didn't want it to be odd or nothing, but at the same time, I wanted to make sure everyone felt loved and welcomed there. And I try to make sure everybody, got to talk and stuff, because it wasn't really like me leading a group conversation or anything. It was more like everyone was sort of talking, and there was like little conversations going on. And I missed a lot of the conversations because of the way it was set up. You couldn't talk really loud because, it is like a restaurant, so you can't yell. And there was a lot of us, I think 16, and somebody counted 16 of us in this little corner. So everybody was just enjoying each other's company. It was more like just a get together where everybody was talking. We never really had one person addressing the whole group or anything like that. It was just hanging out, having fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good. I mean, that's super. I mean, what happened with us? Oh, everybody just met, and we had at 11 o'clock. We had a big. She went us through a long meditation. It was cool. I was crying my eyes out, and there's a lot of people there. Some people were, they're pretty awake, I guess, and some of them were kind of, and I was sitting there just crying. I could just feel like I was just like bear hugging the whole group.
Yeah.
It was just trying, and I got done, and I said something. Sandy pointed at me, "You want to say something, Frank?" And I was just like, I just love everybody in this room, and they're just everybody can feel it. They're like everybody shaking their head, yeah, and they just it was cool. I met some really nice people there who were all on the fence about like the ESETI thing.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, and they're really super nice people. We're awake, and they're like, I don't know. I'm like, oh my God, you guys are an hour and 20 minutes away, and you're questioning whether you want to go up there and hang out for the weekend with everybody. Oh my gosh, that would be. I think people would jump at the chance that we live that close to it. From Portland to James Ranch up there is hour and 20-minute drive.
Yeah. That's so close. Yeah, Shinty, the last caller, she's up there. We're hoping to meet her. But, even if people don't want to, because I don't know what it's going to cost to get into the event and stuff like that. So we're even talking about wherever we go, because Michelle was talking about joining me in some places that we will go and have like a separate thing somewhere, even if it's like a restaurant, like that night we all went out, So even if people can't afford to make it to the event, they can still come out and meet us and, if it's within driving distance, and we can hang out like we did Sunday. So, we want everybody to be able to come. So, and I understand getting off work and money's tight, and, everybody's got their situation. So we want to make it sort of where everybody can at least take part if they like,
Oh, yeah, that's exactly it. I don't know if we get, because you're still talking about, like maybe going the ECETI thing or actually doing it?
We're talking about actually doing it. Yeah, doing one of our own.
I saw you something about you and Dan. I remember watching your show about trying to like maybe reserve the weekend or actually like put a bunch of stuff on hold for, the group. And I'm like, dude, that's so awesome.
Yeah, because I think between, we'll see how it goes here at the New Year's thing that we got going on, how many people come to that. But I'm thinking that, if we get a couple of dozen, 2 or 3 dozen people that come to that, then when we just combining Dan's audience with it and just ECETI just by itself is a really popular place that a lot of people want to make time for it. And we might need the whole place to ourselves for the get together, 2 or 3 day get together.
Yeah, and to man, that would be, I don't know. That's just even little things, just like these meetups are so stinking awesome, just to meet everybody and talk to everybody. And and I love it. I love it. And we were up there, like Sandy's like, man, I would have liked to have gone out to see Shane.
Yeah. Well, maybe she can come for New Year's. That would be awesome, man.
She's coming. I already told her. I go, you're going to get there one way or another. And so if if it's going down, I'll get you there. And I'll do it. I'll make sure you're there. And she's all happy about that.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm not sure about getting a house. That I was trying to get this lake house to rent it out, and it's like, $950 a day in the normal season. I think they'll cut a break to us or whatever, but it's really beautiful. I think they said it sleeps like 20. So I was thinking if we had like a small admission for people because some people are going to want to stay in their own hotel. They're not going to like the whole communal setting because, I think it's sharing some rooms and stuff like that. Not beds or anything, but, I think like some of the rooms have like 4 twin beds in it and things like that. And there's like 2 bathrooms. So it is going to be like living in the real world reality show or something for a couple of days. So some people might want their own hotel and then head over there. But, and even at that price, it would be pretty cheap, I think, dividing it up by person. I think we figured out it'd be like $50 a person a day if 20 people were doing it. So, and then with food and everything, if people could pitch in the daytime. But I don't know that I have enough people that could, that want to commit to that. So if not, we might just still do the motel thing and then just maybe go and have it on Diane's property because the property's good. Her house is just destroyed, and I think the bathroom might be good too. I'll have to talk to her about it, but yeah, I was really just waiting to hear from the other main people from Sedona that were going to try to help me put it together to see what they want to do or whatever. So kind of on hold with that, but I'm going to figure something out this week. I've just been busy with the whole Tulsa get-together thing, so now that that's out of the way, I can focus more on the other.
I wonder, it's kind of cold. I was just thinking, I wonder if on the property we just rent a big tent, and just a couple after. I don't know.
Yeah, and they got those. I think they're only like $100 a piece. They've got those bullet propane heater things that, so that might be.
it's just a place to meet. It's just a meeting place. Everybody's going to be meeting wherever, but it's just a place where everybody can meet, you know,
Yeah.
so we're not having a whole, or it's just, I think it'd be cool with tech, you know, or I don't know, you know, how bad it's destroyed, if there's even restrooms usable or what, you know, I don't know. But, I don't know, whatever, I'm sure you'll get it all figured out. Like I keep bugging you, if you ever need a hand, just reach out. I'll do whatever I can do for you, Shane.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's hard to do it when it's a different city you're not in. And Diane's been really busy with trying her own cleanup. You know, they've having to get all the wet insulation and drywall and get all that tore out. But they did tell her she can rebuild, so it wasn't. She wasn't sure if she'd even get to stay on the property. But she already said we can do the bonfire there and stuff, regardless. So I still plan on getting together and having a blast. What was that?
Maybe she'll want it there demoing her property with a big dumpster and some crowbars, and we'll start taking her out.
Yeah, I even mentioned that. I'm like, maybe this get-together is just so we can come and like a Habitat for Humanity thing, just help you tear it out and you know, get the dumpster there.
Exactly.
And we wouldn't care. We're just like hanging out, you know, have the dust masks and gloves, and you know, we're just happy to be together, hanging out and helping somebody, you know. So.
No, that's all good. The thing in Austin, is it just gonna? What were you thinking? Like Sunday, Monday, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or just New Year's, or what? I wasn't sure about how long you thought you might have.
Well, originally we were talking about getting there Saturday, and then suspend whenever you get there Saturday, and then Sunday, Monday, and then leave on Tuesday, which is New Year's Day, I believe, or is it Monday? Let me double check.
Like New Year's, yeah, Monday night, I think, is New Year's.
Yeah, New Year's Eve is Monday, so.
Yeah. So, I wasn't sure. Because I want to come out and say hi to everybody and hug everyone. And I was gonna come out Friday. I think I told you Tuesday, but I think I'm gonna leave Wednesday just because I just wanted to stick around for whatever.
Right.
You know.
And we might do that because that'd be New Year's Day if we want to still hang out and, you know, because people will typically be off work. But a lot of people have to go back the next day, so it might clear out.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And even if the people, because I know I've seen a lot of people say, I can't go, I work, you know, and I'm like, shoot, even if you came out for Sunday or Saturday and Sunday and you had to go back on Sunday, at least to just be in that environment, it's just very uplifting, I think, to just be around so many people like that who are just to be around that many people that all their hearts, everybody's just, their hearts are wide open, and everybody's just, it's just, I don't know, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know,
and
man.
just experience it, and then you have to go back because maybe you got to work New Year's Eve, but just to be in that is something that you'll remember forever.
Totally, bro. Yeah, and it's like that's what just the whole Sedona thing is what inspired me to. I felt like that was really the main part of my mission there, was to realize how important it is for us to begin to get together and make those connections, and then take those connections back with us, because it's like those are lasting connections. When we all leave and go our separate ways, that connection's still been made, and then as we each go into our next get-togethers, those connections get stronger with other people, and pretty soon we're all connected. You know what I mean? Like in a real physical sort of a way.
And you had Tolik. I was watching your Tolik show, which and he emphasized it before Sedona, and even when Allison was talking about it, and even Tolik. It's not about the conference; it's about the people you meet, and he's so 100,000% right on that. It's like I can barely remember like little bits. I remember that Mahoney, that Indian guy, and a little bit, but it's just everybody else that we've connected with is what's changed my life, and it wasn't really the conference. It's just the people that you meet.
Yeah,
and that's how I took away from it. The conference was just like something that brought us in there.
Yeah, it's like icing on the cake. But I mean, even if it wasn't there, it would have been awesome, you know. So. Yeah, and it's like just a place to get together. And, you know, a few times I know Tolik had a hard time getting people to get back to their seats to start the next thing, and we got a little off schedule because of it, because people were just so enjoying their conversations, their little groups, and meeting people that they didn't want it to end to go back, you know. Of course, they wanted to see the speaker, but they just, you know, were just having fun, just hanging out and talking.
Yeah, and just every, I don't know, it was cool. And then I heard that, because I was going to go back. I wanted to go back, and I talked to the lady that ran the hotel there, and I'm like, March, April, it's not too hot, but everything's blooming. And they go, well, there's a lot of spring breakers in. I'm thinking, but that's the best. When you wait till May, June, it's too hot.
Yeah.
So I was going to go back, and then I heard that there's another thing, and then you said that, and I was talking to Sandy about it, and it's like, man, I should just get a bunch of people to go back that weekend too, and I'll hang out and just be there for Shane and everything else too. And like, what? I don't know. Maybe you want to be there with your wife. I don't know. But
oh no, I want her to experience the whole thing, not only just Sedona, but meeting the people and everything too. So it'll be awesome.
Yeah.
She actually joined us on Sunday, so she got to get a little taste of meeting people. That was awesome, and everybody was so nice to her, and yeah, it was really nice. So yeah, I want her to experience the whole thing. So it's
if you go to the next Toilet conference, that would be cool to let everybody know, and then just like that, see whoever wants to show up down there too, just for another place to do something like that. It doesn't have to be. It's not. You know, it's whatever, but it's just a place to go meet in that environment. I mean, you can't beat that environment of Sedona, I don't think. It's just magical down there. Your wife would just. Like you said, when you drive through the canyon on the way from Flagstaff to down there, you guys are talking about it, where you're just, it's like you're barely looking at the road because you're looking at all your surroundings that are just like jaw-dropping.
Yeah, I'm glad it's like, some of those turns are like 15 miles an hour because they're so sharp. And I was really thankful that the speed limit was really slow, because it really allows you to really take it all in. I couldn't figure out, I'm like, it's only this many miles and it takes that long. Why is it? But then I realized after I was winding through the mountains and stuff, like, oh, yeah, you can't just speed through here. But you don't want to, you know, so.
Yep.
And I would tell anybody, I wouldn't have known this before I went to this thing, but say you can't afford the conference and, like, you just have to go, and while everybody's at the conference, go hang out at a vortex and meditate and just hang out in nature. I would have equally enjoyed my trip doing that. Not saying that the conference wasn't cool, but... You know, I wouldn't have known that beforehand. I was like, man, if I can't afford the conference, then I probably shouldn't go, you know. But now that I know what it's like, that would be totally just as cool if you can't afford the conference, you know, to just go and then wait for everybody to get out, and, you know, you're going to have a great time anyway.
Exactly. I mean, you nailed it on the head. Just to, you know, I don't know what he's going to want, $200-300. Who knows? 333-222 or whatever he's going to want for tickets. That's like a couple nights room right there, you know. And just to go hiking and hang out and explore while everybody waits till dinner time and take it from there, and go back and look for things on the rock. Oh man, it's just, you could go on and on. Now that you've been there, now you know the place. It would be so magical.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, in a way, I feel like I didn't have enough time for that other stuff. So that I would have liked to have for the amount of time I had there, you know. So, yeah, I wouldn't think of it as a bad thing at all. And then just meet up with everybody when they go out together, you know, to the restaurant and to the rock and to the vortexes. It was a great thing, man.
No, it's... See if the vortexes affect her, because I know they affected me, and so it'd be cool to see just how, you know, because the girls, they just
the
react.
Bell
They
Rock
can
one.
feel.
The Bell Rock one was the.
That's where Bell Rock is where I would sit, and within like 15 minutes, tears just roll out of your eyes. It did something to me. It's crazy. It wasn't like, oh, I feel the energies or something. I just melted.
Yeah.
And a lot of other people were like that too, that I've seen since.
See, I didn't make it to Bell Rock, and I wish I had, because, you know, I was thinking back, Eileen told me, make sure you visit Bell Rock. And when I got there, I figured it would be like, you know, the one place that stood out, but there were so many little vortex places and things to see that I couldn't remember what she said once I was there. So I was like, is this the one she mentioned? I don't remember. And then when I got back and heard about their experience at Bell Rock, I'm like, oh, that's the place I needed to go. So, but yeah.
The hardest part is getting there early enough to get a parking spot.
Oh, really?
That's the best. Yeah, because it fills up. If you wait till 10 or 11 or noon, you might get one or two here or there because all those fill up all the time.
Yeah.
And
maybe it'll be better around springtime,
Yeah.
March 30th.
It might. But the lady where I had the hotel, the manager, she said that's kind of like spring break too. So, and Sedona gets flooded around spring break time, that same time. So that's another thing to kind of watch out for.
Yeah.
But no, I just wanted to see how your thing went, and up there where we were, everything. It was cool. It was just really nice.
Was Sandy the only person that you knew from Sedona, or were there other people?
No, everybody else was from the area there.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Everybody else.
Did Allison Coe make it out?
No, she wasn't. She wasn't there. She wasn't
okay.
there. But we might. Speaking of her, we might go up there. I don't know. There might. I'm trying to think here. I don't know. If things work out, I might go back up there just to go hang out again. It was beautiful. It's so, man, if you've never been there, oh my God, I couldn't believe how nice it was up there. I went up there. I was driving through town on the way to my hotel, and I was like, I could live up here. It's so stinking beautiful up there. And
Really?
it's just, now I know why all those people live up there. It's just really nice.
Well, I know Scott Craig
really-
lives up there. Was Scott Craig there by any chance? I don't know if you knew about it.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't know. Maybe he didn't.
Yeah. I don't know if she wanted to keep it low key, but she can always let me know and I can get the word out, because I know there's at least a few viewers that live in that area that would definitely want to attend. So yeah, anybody ever having any get-togethers, let me know if you want me to get the word out and just.
Oh yeah, I know she put it out on her Facebook our Facebook page she has as an event. But if you didn't see it from there, you probably wouldn't have known about it.
Yeah, and I'm not good with keeping up with. I don't get on Facebook except to usually make announcements. But so on the 11/11 event for you guys, I know on 11/11 at 11/11 on 11/11 for me, AM anyway, I had a time of meditation, and I joined in with the global meditation, and then 11/11 p.m. was also a special time. So the event was sort of sandwiched on each side, of the 11/11 times on 11/11. So that was really cool.
That's cool. Yeah. And you had a busy day.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was a lot of fun though.
Yeah. We might get together up there. I don't know. Maybe the first or second week in December. I might go up there, and maybe a bunch of us might get together again up there and just to hang out again or whatever. Just because everybody got along so good, I was like, shoot, I'll come up here in a second, and I might do that. And I was watching your show. I forgot what that one. I think when Tolik was. I don't know, one of those I was watching. And I remember, God, what's her name now? She lives in Washington. Taylor. She was said something about having fun, and I was thinking, man, she could just arrange one up there. Just get whoever. I mean, heck, it's just you never know who's going to show up, and you can just have your own. You don't really have to come to somebody's. Just start your own, especially like she's very well known too.
Yeah.
What went through my mind? It's
Yeah.
like, shoot, I bet you could get a dozen people easily to come up to see you that live in Oregon, Washington, around there and stuff like that. There's a lot of people that live up there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, we had twins show up, Brian and Lynn, and they were twins, and I was like cracking jokes about, I'm like, you guys are really the same guy, and you Mandela affected into the same timeline or something, didn't you? Making jokes about it. It was cool though, because they were wearing these shirts that they had that were Mandela affected. Like their mom had bought them 3 shirts, and then this extra shirt shows up in their closet that wasn't with the original one she bought. and they wore them out to the thing. So that was really cool. They actually wore a real life personal Mandela effect item for them, and it was just cool to just be around people that were experiencing not only the Mandela effect, but just awakening and, you know, connecting to this higher consciousness just in general, you know. So it was really cool, man.
Yeah, it's amazing. Gosh, I was talking to people up there, and I just think I'm a regular guy. You know, I just walk around, and I'm just me. I've always been this way, but in Sedona, it's something about just being more. I mean, you have this as an outlet. I've never had an outlet till I went there, and then after that, it's like I'm never putting my walls up again. I'm just going to be what I've always felt,
Yeah.
which is just amazing. But up there, like I'm just a regular dude who just walks around. I try to open my heart as much as I can every day and walk around and, you know, say hi to people, you know, just try to make everybody's day, you know, whoever if I go out to breakfast, make sure I hug the waitress, give her a little quick hug and tell her how awesome she was, and she made my week. And but I went up there and it's like I felt so like I was having to like talk to people about waking up and doing this, and I'm like, shoot, I thought here I was like worrying about, God, I hope I can fit in, and it was like totally the opposite.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, wow, this is I didn't expect this, you know. Here I thought I was like, God, I hope I can hang with these people, and it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that at all. So it was nice. It was just like, wow, this is a way to see where you are. I think I come from a different, you know, I come from someplace different where I just walk around and just trying to love everybody, and it's just from a different place than trying to figure out like how to do this and how to, because for me, I mean, I listen to you talk, and it's like Shane's like right on board too. I just open up my heart and just put love everywhere, and everything works out. You know, it's just, I really don't have any stress. I don't have any problems. Everything's just love takes care of everything. And It's just kind of how it is, you know. And I hear you talk about it all the time. It's like, yes, exactly. That's all you have to do. So,
yeah.
I don't know. That's just me.
I feel like love's the answer to everything. I'm getting to that point where, you know, and even like, you know, some of the guys that felt a little like, you know, they were standoffish about a hug, you know, they need hugs too. And I know secretly it felt good. So,
you know, I was probably just like that, you know, where inside you are, but you're like, I don't want anyone to see me like this. They might say something, or they might look at me, or
I'm a guy. I'm supposed to be tough, you know. But I grew up in church where everybody hugged everybody, so that's why I say that I don't regret my time in religion at all. I feel like it was an important stepping stone, you know, because people are more affectionate in churches and things like that. And I'm glad I held on to there. You know, I learned a lot in church. So even though I might disagree with some of the fear that they kind of push and peddle or whatever, I think, you know, there's a lot of wonderful people in church too, you know, so it's not like I feel like they're bad or anything. It's just, I didn't kind of disagree with their mechanism to control, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, as you kind of see things, you're like, wow, this is actually designed to keep you this way. And you don't have to be this way. I mean, you can be whatever you want, but just to be a certain way. I mean, I've often, I don't mind, like, I don't know, people get weird about stuff, but I don't mind, like, on a Palm Sunday or something, just go to, because 99% of the people there are just really good, loving people. You know, It's not about, I'm going to go and do all this. I don't care. It's just, you're around all these people that, especially the elderly and stuff like that, that they're just there, and they're just, you know, a little old lady, you're just like, oh my God, I just want to, like, hug her for about an hour, because I know that that's what she needs. That's why she's there. You know? And so stuff like that. It's like, I have no problem going there. But everything you say, Shane, is just like, you're just exactly. I can't. If I could, I would just say yes about everything you say, because it's like exactly. You got it nailed. I think you got it nailed right on.
I'm trying, buddy. That's for sure.
Might not fit with everybody about this and that, but just you know, anything that has to do with anything that makes you stay with fear, like I can't do this because of this. To me, that's something you need to question, because if it's all just I don't know. I just look at it as just like God is love and we're all parts of him, and I don't think that he would do that to us, just like you wouldn't do it to your kids. That's just how I look at it.
Yeah,
you know?
me too.
So I try to simplify the living heck out of it to make it easier for me.
Yeah, but that's true because we act like little toddlers around here, like little animals a lot of the time, just the actions of the human race. So clearly our intelligence level isn't where it needs to be, and you know, you would think that God would treat us with, or the sovereignty of the universe, whatever you feel comfortable calling it, would treat us, you know, appropriately for how we're acting, and we do act like little toddlers sometimes, you know what I mean? So he's not going to just burn us forever, you know, if he's really our fatherly, heavenly father and you know, loves us. I would never do that to my child, so.
No, because I don't think he purposely would want us to put here just to have a, you know, crappy life. I don't.
Right.
You know, I mean, we all have free will to do whatever, and it's part of our learning experience, I believe. You know, that's just, we're learning. We can experience whatever we want. I mean, you can sit there and experience joy all the time by doing this, or you can be fearful of, you know, any day they're going to shut my power and just live in fear every day, or I'm afraid to do something because it might come back and haunt me and live in fear. I believe that's just a choice that we live in. So, because the way I live my life is, I don't, just like you were saying before me, and about, like you don't worry about a lot about like negative things attacking you, because you feel protected, because you feel like, I know, you radiate so much love and light that it's like, I don't think anything can get me. I can sit here and do what I want.
The ankle biters, I like to call them.
Yeah, they can sit there and poke at you, but is something going to physically take you out? And it's like, I doubt that. You know?
Well, who is it? Esther Hicks or Abraham Hicks that always says, you know, you're going to attract to you what you're a vibrational match for. So when we're just loving people like that, you know, of course you're going to have people that, you know, are having a bad day and things like that. But for the main sphere of your influence and your experience, you are really creating your reality and attracting what you're putting out there. So definitely.
I mean, I look at a lot of stuff, like things, I go back to like the Dolores Cannon and little things that she said where you're like, oh my God, that makes so much sense what she says. It just seems to work, a lot of stuff that she put out. And which is the same thing she taught Allison and Candace, Krugel, everybody. I mean, they all come from the same person, you know. And I remember in Sedona, I talked to you real quick about, that's when you had everybody on you. But that's right after you had Terry Wild on there, and I'm like, she was mentioning at one of her conferences how somebody came up to her and said something about, you know, there's all these evils and reptilians and this and Archon or whatever, and it's like, but Dolores Cannon never talked about it, and she's like, yeah, because in her reality, she didn't believe that existed, so she never saw it. She just lived this life, never saw it, and I'm like, you know what, that's such a good, like, metaphor of just, I don't see it. It's not that you're putting the fake blinders on, but I just don't see it. It's just not, because she was so in tune and she had such a high frequency of vibration. She actually could create that, because she could create it, her life, and so she created a life where there wasn't anything like that. Just like you're saying, you get your ankle biters, but she can do whatever you want because she created it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna live like that. That's really a good way to like look at things, you know. You just create your own reality type of thing. I don't know.
You know, it feels good because it's like you know, at the deepest part of your being that you're leaving the world a better place than you found it. You know what I mean? So it's like, and that's like really the main thing, you know, that you leave the world. And how do you do that? With love, you know?
Yeah, and a lot of Dolores Cannon would talk about, I mean, I use what she says. It's just like, that's a really good concept. I'm going to apply that in, you know, see how it works. A lot of all this stuff, I just see, if it doesn't work, I discard it. And if it makes my life open up, then I use all that stuff.
Yeah.
But one thing she also said was that, you know, how our souls, like, you know, people have past lives and everything, reincarnate, and as you give love to trees, rocks, pets, kids, and that helps them, especially like an animal or pet or a tree or whatever, but it helps that nothing ever goes away. You help evolve that soul up to another level so it doesn't have to come back and live that lifetime.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's really cool how
And
she
with our
mentioned
pets,
that.
yeah, that's so cool.
hmm And so it's like, God, that was back. I remember watching something she said, that was like 2011 when I heard that. And I was like, wow. So I just started, instead of like just being nice to my pets because you're supposed to, I looked at it differently. Like, I'm just going to give everything this unconditional love, because it's like it's helping them. Because until you understand that concept, your soul, I mean, just the way Dolores can, but your soul might have to come back and relive a life because you've never really learned how to live that life. And I'm like, if I can do this, and it's where everything around me changed. My pets changed. Everything changed. It became more loving and affectionate just because you put that out there.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's so funny you mention that, because I forgot to mention that when I was talking to Shinty about how much I meditate. And sometimes I don't just meditate. I'll just go outside and sit out. I haven't done it in a while, so it hasn't been in my mind because it's been too cold or whatever. But I'll just sit in the backyard and look at the trees and just love and appreciate everything. And I feel like you're really putting that out there in the plants and the animals around you. You might see a rabbit or a squirrel run by or whatever. And, you're just really shining that love light on everything, and being in the moment, too. That's beautiful.
Exactly. And it just, everything. What's weird is when we came back from Sedona, I mean, I've always been like this, like I said, but I've always just, you worry like, God, I hope so-and-so doesn't, see my name on YouTube, and then I go to work and get an earful or whatever. So you're always very guarded. Now I don't care. But when I came back from Sedona being so blown open, I mean, it took me like 2 or 3 weeks to quit crying. It was just blowing out. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
My pet, I had a cat, and it always sleeps like down by my leg. Every night it curls up down by my knees on the comforter and sleeps next to me. The day I got back to Sedona, the cat crawled under the comforter and curled up on my chest and lay there and purred. It was all night, and it pretty much, that's where it has to sleep every night now, from now on. That was the first time. Weird how the thing just curled up on my chest, and I would doze off for an hour and wake up, and it'd still sit there and be going, just purring all night long, just on my chest, with its face like right up in my neck.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is, but it's just.
It's like he's like, this heart chakra is nice,
Something got blown open, and it just attracted me right to it, because it was walking around, and it made its way up here, and it crawled under the comforter, and it just curled up, and it wouldn't move. It would not move off my chest.
That's fascinating.
That only happened when I got back from Sedona. And I'm like, wow,
awesome.
This is like, that's not coincidence. I don't see that as a coincidence, and because it did it every single night. That's its new place to hang out, is under my armpit with its head on my chest or something. I sleep like heck as a cat, but you got to do what you got to do. But it's just weird how those little things happen.
Yeah.
From just pushing out as much love as you can, and like you keep saying, it's every time you say something, it's like, God, he's so right on that. I feel because
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm on this path learning too.
I go through and I try to live it every day. Just because someone said something, it's like, okay, but I'll try it out, and if it doesn't work, I discard it. But a lot of this stuff, it's like, wow, this is all you got to do is have like the bigger your heart is, it seems like it's just more goodness attracted to your life. And the more that you do that, you just walk around, and like you say, just walk around protected. I know wherever I go, whatever I do, I can't tell you today, looking around, how, like I said, I only hugged 3 people when I was out shopping today, going to different stores. But even the lady, I'm like, hey, can you show me where this is? I walk in and ask her, even though I kind of know where it is anyway, but I just want her to engage with her. And I go, man, thank you, and give her a hug. But it's like you watch these people and their eyes kind of like get all daisy, because I'm really hugging them, trying to love on them. Almost, it is kind of weird. And you watch their expression on their face, it's just like, what the heck? And especially, too, after doing our meetup, because Sandy had us do this meditation, and she'll give us tablets. She says, write down whatever you want. And I in my mind, I kept seeing this anchor, and I don't know what the heck that meant, this anchor. So I just drew a picture of an anchor. I had it in my mind, and that's what I drew. But toward the end, because I lost my son a year and a half ago, and that's why I cried so much at Sedona, and that's why I want to go back, because it was a relief to try to get used to.
That is tough, man.
Yeah, I don't get into it a lot, and when I see it, Austin, we can talk about it. But it's I hear he's right in my head all the time. He's in my head. He's always there. He tells me, I hear his voice, what to do, and I was in there. I could hear Sandy talking and everybody's, and I'm just sitting there because I can feel him. So, I could feel like his presence is in my body. It's just, he's right there. He's standing like right over my right shoulder. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I'm asking him, like, what is this anchor? What's in my head? And he's like, Dad. He goes, that's to hold the light. You're the only one strong enough I know to hold the light. And he just kept like, really, I'm just like, what the heck is, so I wrote it down. And I go, hey, Sandy, this is what he said. And she just like she started freaking out. She's like, oh my God, I know, I can feel it. It was crazy. It was crazy. And I'm like, because I look at myself as a regular guy. And, but when that came through, it's like, whoa, that's kind of weird. Am I making this up or what's going on? Because I don't see myself as like that. I don't see myself like that. But he was really adamant about it when we were in that piece of just like, I was just checked out at that point. I knew there was people around me, and I could hear Sandy talking, but I really wasn't aware of too much out except my son talking to me in my head. But that was cool. It was just something I've never really done that before. Just sat there like that for half an hour and just really see how deep, to see what comes out in that setting like that.
That's cool.
So,
sounds like she's got it all figured out. I'd like to have Sandy to be more a part of that, because, for us, we were just like hanging out and having a good time, but I guess it would have been cool to do some activities and stuff. Really hard to do at a coffee shop, though, But the next one, Karen, that met up there, she's going to have it at her home, so now that she's met everybody, and it's going to be beautiful, so it'll be a better setting for doing that type of thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Up there, because Sandy does it all the time, and she goes around and works with people, and she does readings. She does everything like that. So when we got there, she had everything laid out. That's what she did. She sets it all up. She knows what you need. She has everything all laid out, set up, ready to go. It's not, so everybody has pens, papers, pads, crystals, cards. Everybody can pull cards, and she has everything. That's what she does. She's and she's an awesome person. I knew her. I kind of talked to her a little bit at Sedona, out on the rock, a little bit here and there. We just kind of looked at the pictures on her phone and stuff like that. She was showing everybody, and but then when I hung around her, I'm like, she's such a ball of love that like angels come out. Heart when she talks, because she could talk, and like that's why, because that's like I swear she's so loving, like her heart's like a portal for like angels that she has, because she's just, that's why I spent 3 days up there hanging out, because like she's like she's awesome. I can't believe it. It was so cool.
It was like that's with so many cool people that we met in Sedona. It was hard to, you knew like everybody was cool and loving and stuff, but it was hard to learn people on get to know them on an individual basis, because there was just so many cool people at one time. So that helps when you go to another event and you're like, okay, yeah, I remember you. And then people can start to, that's why we got to do more of these things, because, people know me because maybe my face is on the screen a lot or whatever, but with each other, the more we get together, the more we can familiarize ourselves with everyone, so that's really cool, man.
If there's anything I could do for if somebody could experience what I went through in Sedona, just have that, it's okay to like just drop your walls and do what's inside. You've always felt different your whole life, and it's okay to be yourself. I know I'm just in a unique position where I don't work anymore. I'm retired, and so I don't have to be in this environment where you got to be like around 50 guys all the time, and it's different for me, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know. It's I kind of understand how people, after coming back from Sedona and just being like that. Now I understand where people talk about just like, I don't know, coming out of their closet or whatever. And it's like,
Right.
wow, it is. Maybe they have something to say about that. It's true. To just be open about everything. It just really like makes your life goes from like the dimmer switch to kind of dim to full bright.
Yeah.
And then you start attracting stuff into your life. Just like, it's just incredible what attracts into your life.
I totally agree, man. Well, dude, it was wonderful to have you on. I've got to cut it short because my wife's got to go to bed here. But loved having you on, man. Loved your loving energy. Good to see you're still radiating it here since Sedona. It's wonderful, man. So yeah, I can't wait to meet up on New Year's or whenever we see each other next. You know.
Yeah. No, I can't. When's the thing with? You said something with Karen. When's that going down?
Karen, that's going to be in January. Sometime.
Where's that? Is that going to be over where you are? Or?
Yeah, it'll be in Tulsa.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that'll be okay. I was just wondering.
That's our next Tulsa get together. Will be at her house. So we don't have we just said January. It was kind of a loose. We didn't want it to be too far away, but wanted to get through the holidays and all that stuff, and of course Austin. So yeah, I think sometime in January, but don't have an exact date for that one yet.
I was just thinking because
you might have to start touring the country, right?
Yeah, that's what I was just like.
Winnebago home or something.
I bet by next summer you're gonna go. I've gone so many places in the last year than I have the last 20 years of my life.
That's the plan, man. That is the plan. I'm going to try to manifest some kind of Winnebago home, and just so I can just travel and just make it like I'm touring in a concert, but really we're just having get-togethers all over the place, and that'd be cool, man. That sounds like a complete blast to me, and I've always had the heart to travel and do these shows. So if I can combine them together, that would be, and even make it up into Canada and see Ben Jojo and Jose and Michelle, and there's so many people up in Canada as well. My buddy Jamie's up there. There's so many people up there as well. So really, summertime, I like to be going across Canada, and because it's beautiful up there.
Yeah, I just wondered about that other one, because it was like, I wonder, because I would fly out just to hang out to meet all these people that are in your room and all that stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man.
Because I have to be. A few weeks before, I don't know, about 3 weeks before the 11/11, when you started talking about having a meetup, I was texting Sandy in Portland. It's like, are you going to do this? And because it's like, if she said no, it got put off, I was going to get tickets and I was going to come see you over there. I was going to fly out and see you. Because it's just really important for me to do that. And I have to do it. But then she told me that, so it's like, I'm going to go up there because I already asked her for it, and I'm going to go see her. And it worked out, but if something didn't work out, I was going to come out and see you. Then I heard Terry was going to be there, and I'm like, well, shoot, I would like, that would be something. So he's a busy guy. But
yeah, Lenny from one of my viewers, she's a stewardess or flight attendant or whatever you call it, and she gets like a time on the plane, and she was like talking about flying out to the Tulsa get together. So she's going to be coming to the next one because she couldn't make it out to this one. So yeah, you won't be the only person flying in for the get together if you can make it in January. That'll be really cool.
Yeah, we'll see about January. If it's like 2 weeks after Austin, I'll see what we can do. It's just it's right after one after the other there.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to come out. All these people that you got and the people that you show, I'd love to come out and meet them all and say hi and see everybody. I'm gonna go back up to Portland here. I don't know, second or probably the first or second week in December to go visit up there again and see Sandy and hang out and all this. It's just fun. I love it. And on the way back, I was going to stop by and see Bob, Go-Kart Bob, and he was busy, so I missed him. But next time when I go up, I want to make sure that on the way up, I'll see him. I was gonna send you pictures and stuff, but it didn't work out. I waited. He was just busy. Things happen, and it's okay. But because there's other times, but 'cause I want to meet everybody. I want to say hi and run by all these people's houses if I'm in the area and say hi and everything, and
then make that connection
cool.
from that group to this group, and that would be nice if we can have somebody at each of the groups to help make those connections, because I think it does, I really do.
And I saw about somebody posted in your room having one in Monterey, California. It's like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. It's going on.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's wonderful though, man. Great time to live.
Buy used Winnebago and go to a mall. I mean, it's just funny.
Yeah, and then a bunch of us are musicians. We're like, man, we can get together and play music. We could even start a touring band or something, rent out a place. And so the possibilities are endless, Frank, really.
Anyway, okay, well, I just going to talk to you for a few minutes. I didn't mean to keep you this late, Shane.
Oh, no problem at all, buddy. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And just see how your thing was going. I know you mentioned it, but I just want to see how, talk to you about it. And see how it's going. I'll let you know what kind of went on up there, too. Just to talk to you. I haven't talked to you for a while. So.
Yeah,
but I can't wait to see what.
I was going to say, when you talk to Sandy, I need to have her on sometime and share some of her cool pictures. I know I showed a few of them, but I know she's got even more in artwork and stuff, so it'd be fun to have her on the show sometime during a regular, not just a call-in show, but, a full show with her. That'd be cool.
Yeah, because she's got like 1 million stories about stuff.
I know.
And it's so...
Yeah.
It's so... Told her, I come up there, we go do stuff, I'll drive, and I'm going to steal you for the day, and we're going to take like a 6-hour road trip so you can just tell me all your stories and drive around and then kidnap you, because she's got all these things. She's been doing this for a while, and so she has a lot of things that she can express and stuff like that, and it's really cool. That's super cool.
Yeah, definitely, bro. All right,
man. I'll tell her that.
Yeah. So
but anyway, I can't wait to see you guys again, everybody. It's gonna be awesome.
Definitely, buddy.
So, and whatever, if you need, anything for Austin, you let me know. And I'm 100% back you, help you, whatever you need. It doesn't matter what you need. Just let me know, and I'll take care of it to make sure everything runs smoothly for you. So
I appreciate.
I'm here for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Lots of love to you, buddy.
Yeah, you too. Have a good night. I can't wait to meet. Is your wife going to go to Austin when it all goes down?
Yeah, she'll be there.
I can't wait to meet her.
Yeah, it'll be awesome. Looking forward. Awesome in Austin.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, later, buddy. Lots of love to you. Love you, man.
Have a good evening, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks, Shane.
All righty, bye-bye. And lots of love and light to everybody. I love you guys so much in the chat. And yeah, we're going to have, I'm looking forward to 2019 being a year of connecting. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I see it happening. I don't know, it's just this reconnection. I call it a reconnection because I feel like we all are already connected. And we just don't realize how connected we already are. So I'm looking forward to all of this coming together in a very real way in 2019 and moving forward. So really excited about that. Lots of love and light to you guys. Have a good one. I will be back tomorrow with Eileen. And for our Power of 888, hopefully you can join. We'll see you then. If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.